What's up, y'all? Welcome. Episode 10. BKG is in the building. What's up? It's good to see you guys. I've had a long work week, but it feels so good to be back behind the wheel on episode number 10. We've had 11 amazing guests. This has been a 11 week project, and I'm so excited today. I gold plated the episode number 10 because it is something special. And when we do something special, we got to bring in someone special. And I couldn't think of a more special person to be here today. I'm a big fan of this man. A lot of us are in here to try to get scrape some more racecraft secrets. We're constantly on his channel scraping those by. He actually helped us out and made it even easier to scrape up some of those racecraft secrets with his new series that we're going to be talking about, Essential Racing Strategies with Learning with Led. So I'm going to get it all right. I'm sure he's going to introduce it a lot better than I do. But I'm happy to see you guys. Look at everybody in here. We got 14 people in here already. Alto, Root, BL, all of Led's family. I know you guys are here, so hello, y'all. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for all the stuff that went behind the scenes to get this all together and all the preparation work to get this man ready. You guys know him as Ledpencil. I know him as Ledpencil. So let's introduce him without further ado. Say hi, sir. How are you today, man? All the way from Maryland. What's going on?
Hey there, guys. Hey there, Viking. Oh my goodness. That's quite the introduction. I already feel like $1,000,000 for sure, man. That's so cool.
Sir. Hey, your
Appreciate you.
story is $1,000,000. Like I tell people, the numbers here don't matter. But you have recently just hit that big milestone of monetization on YouTube. We're going to hear
Yeah.
all about your journey and why you even started this, how Gran Turismo came into your life, your
Yeah.
work with the church, your work with your family. You're a man of faith. You're driven by your family, and just so much goes into who you are and your character. And I think it shows in your community. I think everybody is able to kind of pick that up off of you. You create a very family-friendly vibe and family-friendly channel, and I'm honored to have you here. So I know that you're excited, but I'm also excited as well. I've been waiting for this for a while. So
Yeah.
tell me what
News is
it's
pretty
like out in
mutual.
Maryland.
Oh, it's kind of chilly right now. We've
Is it?
had sort of a colder winter so far than usual. Yeah, we spent multiple days now under freezing
Oh,
temperatures, and it's kind of that's not usual. We're normally in the 40s, and then we might get a snowstorm or something sometimes, but no, it's been colder, but
tis
other
that
than that,
season. Because I see
Maryland has a
you in a
lot of attract.
t-shirt and I'm in a hoodie because I'm in Arizona and I'm cold. And I can only imagine, you've said you've been in Maryland for 42 years, so I'm assuming
Just about.
it's
Yeah.
you probably have that cold blood, because out here, man, we're desert rats,
Well,
man. We can't deal with that.
I did spend 7 years, off and on, 7 or 8 years in Wisconsin. So I know the next level of cold, which I'm sure some folks in
Ooh.
the chat know what I'm talking about, and the Canadian friends know what it's about. Where you take that first breath when you step outside, and all your nose hairs freeze. Like it's legit. Like not everyone experiences that.
Man,
Then
that
there's the
made me
next
flinch.
then there's the next level of cold where you inhale that first breath when coming outside, and you instantly cough, like your lungs can't even handle it, and you cough it all out. I don't even know what it is, but yeah, it's that's cold. That's Wisconsin cold. We actually are getting Wisconsin cold a little bit.
Hey,
Um,
I'm a big fan of
and
Wisconsin, man. I like cheese. I really like cheese.
oh, so do I, and they do
Cheese
too.
curds. I used to have friends that used to send me cheese curds from like the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. I know you guys big rivals out there.
Right, right. So yeah, that's where I went to college. That's where I met my wife. Actually, is in Wisconsin.
Okay, we're
Um,
definitely going to
we
talk about wifey. We got an
Yeah,
amazing story there.
yeah.
You're an awesome family, man, and I can't wait to introduce kind of that side of you. But I'm really excited. It's obviously beard season. When I met
That's
you
right.
a few months ago, you didn't have a
Uh-huh.
beard. It was
Right.
beardless. And my whole thing kind of coming out, my little slogan was like beard and brethren, because when I started, my beard was down to like my chest. I just,
Yes, I
grew
saw.
it
I
out for
remember.
grew it out for 2 years, and it's slowly been chopping it away because now I'm back in work, and I work in behavioral health. So there's no judgment I think there are a lot less judgment on beards
Yeah,
in this
for sure.
generation, but still, for my own personal reasons, I want to keep clean, and I just, I
Yeah,
had to let it go, man. I had to let it go. It really hurt me, but I see you growing yours out now. You're
that's
getting,
tough.
I think yours is beating
Well,
mine now.
probably at the moment, yeah. I'm a seasonal beard wearer, so it gets warm enough in Maryland to where it's too much beard to just be having. I don't even need to get to the details. It's just nasty. And then, but once it gets cold, I do enough work outside and I do enough exercising outside that I like that natural coat that God gave me. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
I wear it while it's cold. It makes sense to
And you
me.
need it, man. I know that you were telling me that you're a semi hobbyist professional metal worker. So I did a little bit of welding myself. A
Okay.
little bit of metal working, especially out on the rig, with
Yeah.
like perforated pipe and stuff. But it definitely protects. Definitely protects. I've
It
caught
does.
a few sparks without hair, and I've caught a few sparks with hair. And although it sucks to get a little singe, and burn off a little hairs, it's definitely a lot better than a
Uh-huh.
scar and a blister.
I definitely have some welding scars. I don't need to show any of them to you right now. It's nothing serious, but we'd be here too long. But yeah, I worked at a factory in Wisconsin. That's where I got introduced to metalworking. I ended up working in a fire extinguisher plant. We would make fire extinguishers from scratch, like the bare metal.
How do
And
you actually make
so
a fire extinguisher? I've never thought about that, but now that you've said it in my head,
it,
because at my work
yeah,
site we just had all of our fire extinguishers inspected, and now that
yeah.
you've said that, I'm thinking in my head like, how do you make a
How
fire
does that
extinguisher?
happen, right? I didn't know either. So when you think of like classic factory an assembly line, like that's what you should see when in your mind's eye when you think about that. So I worked as part of the assembly line. I I ran the automatic welder, so it wasn't any freehand welding. It was you had to adjust the settings as the worker, but you would just slam that thing in there, and we had to weld the top of it and the bottom of it together.
So
Had
you
the
can
shell
lay some
already.
dimes, then, is what you're saying.
No, 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 nothing like that. So
I say
when
I let nickels at times.
I like nickel, yeah, 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 more like nickels, right? So I didn't learn. I learned freehand welding, MIG welding after that, and I was in that industry for 5 years, and then I ended
Oh
up
wow.
becoming. Um, well, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but that's how that went, and so we ended up. I ended up learning it as a trade, basically. I almost went to school, but I basically just learned on the job. Essentially, is what ended up happening.
Dang. Misa over here with another 5 memberships. This lady is
I see that.
supporting the channel. Holy smoke. Shout out to Misa. We always got to shout out our better halves. It's one of our favorite things to do here on Behind the Wheel, especially with the family guys. I think a lot of people are supported by their immediate family, and that's a big drive, especially
Hmm.
initially doing this. I know a lot of it, they see the channel, right? And we put so much work into the production value of it, but nobody
Right.
actually knows what we're looking at. Like, I'm looking at my master bedroom and you're looking at your Lego room. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Technically, this is super behind the scenes information now.
That's all we
We
want.
can. So we had so many Legos, and so it was designated as a room down in the basement. And when I so when we went to go make the have the setup here, there wasn't many options as far as in the house to do it. So I said, well, what if I just take a little section of the Lego room and turn it into my spot where I stream? And so that's ended up. So yeah, past the 55-inch plasma TV that I use to game with is innumerable Legos.
I think Mama says she
And
misses the ping pong table that used to be there.
I
Via,
was here for a bit. Yeah, that's going back a ways now, but yeah, yeah,
she
there was
said that's
one.
going way back as a kid, huh?
Yes, yeah, so that's when the basement was unfinished. We're talking before I was born, probably, I'm thinking.
So it's Mama who plays the ping pong. Mama got some competition to her then, huh?
She would play, yeah. My dad played in some leagues as a kid
Like actual
when he
ping
was
pong leagues?
yeah, well, my dad is from Spain.
Oh, wow. I got a little
Yeah,
Spanish blood
so
myself.
is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my well, Rail
okay.
is Spanish. Or I don't know if I didn't know if anybody knew my last name, but now they do. But yeah, on my dad's side, they're Spanish. There's like a whole state in well, actually they do know my name because of my A+ license that I posted. Like we were
Oh,
talking about like transparency stuff, man. I'm already out there. You know, I'm in behavioral health and I'm in fitness and I
yeah.
got fitness pages and I mean, my address, there's so much posted, you know, and the thing about me though, is I live in the Wild West. So people out
Mhm,
here are a little bit more comfortable with, you know, you could come to my house if you want to type things, but
mhm.
it's a little bit different out here. And I've just always been someone who's been a very transparent person. You know, especially with the family, we're a little bit more protective of that. And we definitely try
Yeah,
to keep that things under wraps. I know, you know what it's like to have a big family. We both have four
mhm.
kiddos, so
That's
we
right.
manage a herd. We know what it's like to adjust schedules. And even today, like I'm running back from my son's basketball game and I'm like in contact with you, like we're good. And I even see it, what really is awesome about behind the wheel and the behind the scenes stuff and doing collaborative streams is that I get to see things that other people don't see. And I see your
Uh-huh.
your son, and I'm pretty sure it's your son. It may be some random kid, but just helping you and getting our audio right and getting our stuff right. And it takes
Yeah,
the gap in generations to come together to really make this work,
yes,
because we're the men leading the way,
100%.
but they're the information behind our heads. Like, here's the little tricks you got to do to get it work. Tell us a little bit about, you know, you said that you've been married for 19 years, you got kiddos,
Yeah.
without divulging any, you know, thing personal, but just tell us what your family means to you and just what drives you, because I know that that's probably the number one thing there.
Well, what drives me is probably the most important part of the question. I would say if I were to prioritize it, it would be God first, wife
Amen.
second, then the kids, then you list all the priorities along after that, however you will, basically. But with all of that and all the responsibilities that I have, Jesus Christ is at the center of all of it.
Amen,
And
sir.
without him,
My
without him,
dog.
I got nothing. Yeah, I got
Yes.
nothing. And he is the motivator. He's the sustainer. He's the enabler. And
Eh,
so that's really what it comes down to. Um, and so, I not something that I've necessarily brought up in my own stream. The channel's not for that necessarily. Not
right.
that I'm opposed to talking about it. Hasn't come up, but I do know that sometimes that can make folks uncomfortable, and
Yeah, definitely.
so
I think we I
it's
think
not
we all try to manage, you know, politics, religion, hot
religion. Yeah,
topics. I try to let people talk freely until it kind of gets out of hand. You know, I got like a 3 strike rule on my channel.
yeah,
Only I
not
think
bad.
only one person has ever hit the 3rd strike, and I think we all deal with them. So, but
Right?
but
Enough said.
no, one thing I love about you, Led, man, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm man enough to tell you, I love
Okay.
something about your channel, and that's that I can watch your channel sitting with my children, and
Oh, that's good.
I can share my passion sitting with my kids, and I know that nothing's gonna come up kind of crazy. Now, I do in my own selfish time, and I don't push too many people away for whatever they do on their channel, but one thing about family friendly streaming is most of the time for us dads, man, we're with our families, and
Yeah,
especially in our spare time streaming. So just kudos to you, and we're gonna get into the show, but just kudos to you for the family friendly streaming and keeping your
yeah.
faith first. I've had a time or two where I've prayed on stream for folks, so You
Right.
know, Misa is in Christian ministry. You know, I'm
Mhm.
in behavioral health, so helping people and being there for people is just in our human nature, and I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about that. You know, behind the
Yeah.
wheel is raw, it's live, it's about the things that we're actually about, telling the story of actually who we are.
Yeah.
So I hope you
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
advantage of that. You said that you were in sales as well. That's like your main occupation. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about sales and kind of, you know, how
Yeah.
what kind of sales.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. Real quick though, I mean, I want to tell you that means a lot that you say you trust the channel with your kids. That's intentional. You know, I really want it to be that way on purpose. So I'm so glad that you said that, and that's the reality.
100%, man.
As- yeah, man. So it's going to sound really boring. It's not maybe as boring as it might sound, but I'm a salesperson for an electrical distribution company. So we deal mostly with kind of new construction and renovation. So electrical contractors will come contact me looking for electrical parts, and
Gotcha.
so we supply them at you know not a Home Depot or Lowe's rate. It's a contractor rate and
Right.
that kind of thing, and it's so yeah. I mean, anytime you see a crane, right, in a city or whatever, think about all the electric that would have to go into that. That's what we're supplying,
Gotcha.
as large as that,
So is that like
So
supply chain management or is that different?
not supply chain management, no. It's
Direct.
direct interaction with the contractor or the purchaser of the contractor.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
we're
I mean,
I
that's
appreciate
it's
that.
I was in sales, but it wasn't for anything exciting. I was in sales for packaging for a while, and I handled like supply chain distribution, and that
Okay.
somehow got into when COVID hit, like selling masks. So I was actually selling the KN95, which was like the N95 knockoff.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so and I actually had some pretty good acquisitions though, man. I sold 500,000 masks to a hospital one time, which is pretty cool. But I mean, it was like
Nice.
it was at like, you know, 60 cents, you know, and I made like a
Yeah, yeah.
2% commission off 60 cents, but you know, still really cool. So, but that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
explains a little bit about how you're able to, and disagree me if you want, but it kind of gives you the ability to talk to folks and that cold calling, you know, kind of the way you got to do sales and you
Yeah.
got to engage with people just right off the bat and find ways to
Right.
engage. And for me, when I felt like I was going to make a sale, it's when I could find some way to relate to somebody and talk about something totally
Sure.
off the sale, you know, whether it be jujitsu or be martial arts or, you know, my faith, or somehow I try to find little bullet points to talk about outside of the sale. And that would usually lead to a sale. So just my
Gotcha. Yeah.
little technique out there. So we got sales,
Right.
and we got metalworking, and you're also an elder in
Yeah.
Christian ministry, man. That's something, dude, kudos to you for being such a well-rounded, amazing person. But for me, when you told me that you were an elder in the Christian ministry, it really caught my eye. I actually ran downstairs and told Misa, I was like, he's an elder in Christian ministry. Like, I knew I
Hmm.
liked this guy. So what's that like? Because you're
Well,
not
yeah.
that old.
So
I mean, I think when people hear
no.
elder, they think that you got to have a gray beard, and you got a little
Right.
salt and pepper, but
Just a
not
little. Yeah.
much.
Right. No, no. So yeah, that's my official title in the local church that me and my family serve at. But essentially, people might be more familiar with pastor. So I'm a lay pastor at a local church here in Maryland,
Wow.
which means I'm not paid. I'm an unpaid pastor.
Gotcha.
There is a senior pastor that's in the church that me and one other unpaid pastor help out and work in the ministry there at the local church. And so, yeah, so when I mentioned I went to Bible college, or sorry, when I mentioned I went to college, actually went to Bible college between, well, I did one of these amazing things. You'll like this. I managed to smash 4 years of college, right,
Uh-huh.
into 7. Uh,
I did it in
so,
6. I did it in 6.
so you know what I'm talking about. It's really
Yeah.
hard to do that, isn't
Yeah. Oh
it?
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I changed my major halfway through, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
ay
So
ay ay.
for me, I took a year off in between high school and college, and then I took a year off between freshman year and sophomore year of college. And then I took a year off between junior year and senior year of college because I got married in '05.
Ah, this is 19
Yeah.
years ago then, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
See, I be
Amazingly, can't
Viking
believe
King
it.
be on the stats, man.
It's right. You are. You're doing that math. You're doing that math. Yeah. So we were dating and engaged for I guess altogether it was 15 months, something like that. I mean, it
Oh, so
wasn't too
you
long.
you moved quick. Don't tell Misa, man.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, no, that's a long story, so I don't think we have time for all of that here, but, let's just say I knew.
Attaboy.
I knew. I
Attaboy.
wasn't and, it's but a big part of the special parts of the story are, it was obvious that we were headed the same direction, and I think that's, this isn't necessarily a marital counseling session, but, we were friends first, which then turned into a deeper relationship, which turned into wanting to get married. And I do think that the friends first is key.
Oh, for
And
sure.
yeah,
Me and Misa were
well,
friends for 6 years before we
yeah,
ever went on a
awesome.
date.
I think you get to know someone better that way. Sometimes,
I think if you're friends first, you get to learn the things you don't like. And if you
sure.
tolerate the things you don't like,
Uh huh.
all the things you do like are that much better. Like me and Misa know how to
Yeah.
we know how to tussle it out. I mean, she's tough, man. She's a firecracker. Latino
Uh
women are
huh.
nothing to play with. But I'll tell you
Gotcha.
what, I she was just so friendly, and she was a banker, and she was managing my accounts, and she's just so beautiful, obviously, and then so that caught my eye, but
Yeah.
just carried herself with a poise that
Mm,
intimidated me to a certain extent. Like, wow, that's if I better come correct if I'm going to talk to
yeah.
this woman. And then being able to laugh and her ability to completely neutralize my defenses as like a tough
Interesting.
guy or whatever, I was trying to
Yeah.
be, just praying for me, was one of the first things she did for me. And I mean, that catches me right off guard because I lived a really rough life. So few and far between of having intimate moments with people and showing vulnerability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But she
Yeah.
brought that out in me, and we were friends for a really long time. And I like to hear stories like that. I truly believe the same thing.
Yeah.
If you can really be best friends with the person that you want
Hmm.
to spend your life with, you're a very lucky person. So
Yeah, I think it's the best. That's the ideal. You really kind of want to be married to your best friend, right? I mean, you're planning to spend until death do us part, right?
yes,
So
sir.
I think that's huge. Yeah, I was pretty sure she was the one before we started dating, and then about the summer in between college, she went on a missions trip to Mexico, and I took a pastoral internship. So we were apart for 2.5 months, I think,
Oh,
and
that
had
must have
very
been
little
tough.
had very little phone contact. Yeah, and so I ended up, I think about 3 weeks in, I thought, "This is awful. I don't want to be away from this person ever again."
We just went
and
through that.
Yeah, okay, gotcha, yeah. So it's like, so I was, you know what? And I mean, I didn't just pop the question after that summer. She knew it was coming, I think, because we were having conversations when we could. We had one phone call a week basically, because that was the only time she could get access to a phone. Remember, this is '03.
Yeah, so
And
this is
so
before, I mean, we're still on, I mean, this is, '03, because I'm thinking, okay, high school for me, flip phone came out, Razor came out, had some Nokias before that. So
yeah,
we're
she
really getting into the green and orange digital screen phones at that point.
right. And then take that a decade or so before, because she's in a place in Mexico where there's not much at all. Where she was serving, there was no phone. And where she was staying on the weekends, there was a phone, and that's when we would talk. Was on a Saturday, I think, normally, or Friday night, something like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, that convinced me. And so yeah, that summer, the end of the summer before the year, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes.
Oh
So
man, see, behind the wheel moments, man. I love stuff like that. That's awesome, man. So when you see Led, just know that he's taken. It's done. He's a
Oh,
good
oh my
man. It's
goodness.
taken.
Super
19
taken.
years.
I get taken every day. I get taken every day. She's everything. She's awesome.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So shout out to the wife, shout out to the kids, shout out to the family, shout
And
out to moms who's watching.
yeah,
Family is amazing. Faith first, family second. And now we're gonna get into a little bit of racing fundamentals. So we got our 3 F's
cool.
for the day. You said that you started on the very first GT. You used to rent it. That's how long ago it was. Is that like
Yeah.
Blockbuster rentals? Because I remember
Yes.
going down to the gas station and being able to rent video games from the gas station, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say when you said I used to rent the video game, it triggered
Mm-hmm.
a whole
Yeah.
era of my life, and I do miss Blockbuster. That was a great
Yeah.
great time. But where'd
May
you?
it rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What? That's crazy that it's even went out of business. Just walking through aisles and aisles of videos and games, and
That was an
you know,
experience, right?
the little room you had to walk past that like had a curtain over it that it was just
Right?
devil. But you said you started on the first GT, but you were more of like a Need for Speed guy. You know, played
Yeah.
the other games and stuff. What was that like? What age era was that?
Yeah. So check this out, right? I think you and a lot of folks will like this, and I wonder if my mom remembers this. So you remember when Best Buy first came out?
Oh
I
man, I remember
yeah.
Circuit City.
Oh goodness, yeah, Circuit City. Well, Best Buy came out here. What are we talking? Like mid 90s, early to mid
Could
90s,
somebody in
right?
chat figure out when Best Buy got started?
Yeah, right. Dude, someone get on that. By the way, this chat is amazing. I'm watching this, and I
It's,
can't keep up exactly, but you all are
it's so
out of
hard.
this
I can't.
studying,
I can
you know.
type real quick, but it's hard for me to like get every
You are,
name in, man. But Chris Briggs, everybody, me. You got moms in there. BL. You got
yeah, yeah.
Squeezy, PhD showing up. Adrena Luke. We got Warhawk who's come in. Misa already with the stuff. Akita, Actia is maybe
Yeah, it's
Actia. Yeah, you
it's
got
my son.
Warhawk became a weekend warrior. So shout out to Warhawk, man. Chris
Oh, there's
Cole. We
Plankton.
got my boy Chris Wood in there. Cole Trickle. And we got my boy Chris Wood in there. We got Stefan in there. SEN Dad Racing, J Funk, Nervy Gaming, D Jones. They all got memberships. Alto's hanging out. Anybody I missed, man, it's not to miss you. It's because
Right.
this is fire and you guys are here for Lead. Shout out to Root. But we got a lot of your
Yeah.
peoples in here, man. Big fans.
They are incredible fans.
So going
I
back, Best
can't
Buy
even,
Circuit City.
yeah.
Let's not mix it. Let's not lose it.
Right. We'll get to those folks pretty soon, I'm sure. But yeah, so the I had Atari and Nintendo growing up, and then I remember going to the Best Buy. Best Buy was my mom's favorite place. We were there all the time, right? And Best Buy had, and like in the center of the whole store, had this video game area where they were demoing games, right? And
Oh,
so
I miss game
I end
demos.
up Yes, all right. So I end up going there, and I remember looking at this thing, and it wasn't a Sony, it was a Panasonic system that I think never saw the light of day, actually, because I've never heard of it since. But they on the Panasonic system, it was like $700. So that's a lot of money, and that's probably why I didn't do it because what I think PlayStation started to sell their console at a loss
Yeah, I feel like
because no
everything
one
was
was
like a $500 bill.
right. So anyway, on that demo was the Need for Speed,
Ooh,
like the first one, where you had the Diablo and the
the
Testarossa, and
Countach,
you
the
had all those
Countach.
awesome, you had all those awesome ones, and it was the one where when you got pulled over by the cop, you had a live action cop like come and be all mad at you
Oh
for breaking the
yeah, I
law.
do remember.
Remember that? Yeah.
Wow.
So that happened. I loved going there. I wouldn't see my parents for like an hour or so. So I had all this time to play that game. So when the PlayStation came out, I bought two games: Need for Speed One and Need for Speed Two. That's what I had to have immediately. And then so yeah, I rented GT, the first one, and it wasn't my cup of tea at the time. It was very hard, and it was controller only, so it was really difficult. I ended up when I was in college and getting married and all that, I didn't have any time for video games. There was no time for any of that. So fast forward some time, and then I ended up buying GT5, and that was the first Gran Turismo game that I played that had an online component
Yeah, you
to it,
said that was the
right?
first time you got into the online-ish stuff, right? Was
Yeah,
GT5.
and I fell in love with it. That aspect of the unpredictability of humans.
Right.
It was a lot of fun,
I actually
and I
hate
was
playing
my
games against AI. I don't even like it.
yeah. I'm not too much of a fan of it either. There's the element as far as like the Gran Turismo games, that part of it just seems like it's to buy the cars to get money so you can buy the cars and grow your collection and tune and that kind of thing. And that's fun. That's certainly fun. But as far as the racing part goes, that element for me was like this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I would just get into lobbies, and my favorite thing to do was get an Enzo Ferrari and soup that thing up as much as I possibly could and go 260 miles per hour on
Shout out
racing
to
softs
Enzo.
on Daytona Oval. And there were a lot of guys doing that. I was just doing that over and over and over again. I remember the day that I tried to go onto the deep forest on a lobby with a controller. And do you know how bad I was? It was it was terrible. I'm like, why am I so bad? And I just like everything was wrong. Everything I did was the wrong. I hit the wall, so I don't know how many times. And so eventually the online it stopped that game stopped getting supported, and I moved on to other things. But I said to myself, if I ever got another Gran Turismo game, it would be with a wheel,
Yep, the
without a
next
doubt.
time's gonna be a wheel. You can
Yeah.
only go so far with a controller until and kind of pretend like you immerse yourself. But
Hmm.
once you get your hands on the wheel and you feel
Oh my
like
goodness.
just it's like a brain connection with your PlayStation that happens. And if you can make that happen, there's nothing like it. And that's how it was like with me. I mean, even my first wheel, it was a T80, I think it was. It wasn't
Trust
even
me.
anything special, but
Right.
I remember that night and just having my whole family try it out and be like, this is the way you got to race. This is
This is the
amazing.
way. Yeah.
Had the little play seat and everything, just like, this is amazing. And I had my whole family try it. I wouldn't even try it. I was just watching them like, are you guys having as much fun as I think I'm about to have? You guys get, and so for
Uh-huh.
me, what I get when ever I get something new for the rig, I make Misa try it. And then I have my kids try it, and then the girls try it. I've even had my mom on the rig trying it because I get excited watching people have fun, doing it. And then I'm like, all right, it's my turn, my turn, my turn. So
Yeah.
did
Nice.
you didn't start on the wheel in GT5. I think you told
Hmm.
me that you said the next time I'm gonna do it for real. And you
Yeah.
went all out with GT7. You started
I did.
GT7 the day it came out or the month it came out? You said
The
was
day
it
it came
March
out.
2022?
It was in March 20. I don't remember the date anymore, but
So the
yeah.
day
So
it came out, and since then
yeah.
you've become an A plus driver. You have
Uh-huh.
1,243 races, 503 top five finishes, and 67 victories.
Yep,
So
that's up to date stats right there, folks. Right there. That was up to
wow,
date.
like, and it's not like you've been sim racing your whole life, but you are one
No.
of the top dogs. You have a very unique way of racing. You have an awesome way of passing on the knowledge. But tell us a little bit about what got you behind the wheel for that first time, how you did it. You said you went all out. You got the
Mhm.
G923, the
Yep.
console, rig, desk,
Yep.
everything. Tell us
Everything.
about what that was like.
Yeah. So it was an exciting time. So I think I found out. Well, I'll say this: I didn't have the PS5 right away. When it first came out, if you guys remember, man, it was hard to get one. It was crazy because of the chip shortages and stuff. And besides that, I didn't. There really wasn't a game that I really wanted to play yet. So I said, I'll wait. I'll just wait. So, but I think November 2021, I heard the release date for GT7, and I said, that's the game I want to get. So it's time to get the PS5, and I'm getting a wheel. So I did some research, and I landed on I think what's very typical beginner wheel, and that's the G923 right here. Still the same one. She's my baby right here. And
That's what the True Force pedals.
it's the True Force pedals, yep, and with a True Brake mod, which was
Oh
so
yeah, you
graciously
said that
gifted.
you had mentioned you made a mod to that. What's the True Brake mod?
So it gives you it's a True Brake mod. It gives you the feel of a load cell on the brake pedal. It's so much
Gotcha.
stiffer. I had to reinforce this rig. It's a good thing I'm a metal worker because I had to do some stuff to get this thing to stay put with that how hard it is to push that
We
brake.
have some
But
rig pics here of kind of your progress. If you want to, while you're
mhm.
explaining
Yeah,
this a little bit, kind of tell us.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So anyway, so I did all that, and yeah, by the time GT7 released, I already had the wheel, I had the PS5, and I started playing it immediately. Now, contrary to what you see in those pictures, I started doing it in my living room with a gaming chair. And I quickly found out, wow, when I push the brake, the whole chair goes back because I'm on wheels. So I
Yeah,
actually, you guys are gonna love this. So I got one of my old ratchet straps from my work truck, and that had a part ripped off. I don't know why I even still had it. I should have thrown it away. So I tied that
I
to
never throw
the
anything away.
bottom. Right. Never do it. Never throw it anyway. So I tied that around the back, and I just played it in the living room. And then when I was done, I would tear the whole thing down basically. So I had the wheel on the stand, which you see the stand in the pictures there. And then, but this seat that I'm sitting in now, I didn't have at the time. So I ended up, yes, in BL's living room. That's right. I would take up the whole living room. So this is, yeah. So then when it became time, eventually we decided to stream, and I realized, yeah, I need something more permanent. So I ended up doing some other things down here. But yeah, that's how it went. I dropped all the money, pretty much all at once. I got the wheel earlier, so I had Dirt 4, I think, at the time. So I played Dirt 4 with the wheel, and oh my goodness, I kid you not, everything on that game became instantly easy. It was too easy.
Really?
I
The
was
the
destroying
dirt
all
game's
the
on the
time.
wheel because for me it's opposite. I have when I get a dirt track, I just jump on the controller because I'm so bad
Sure.
at it.
Well, GT7 is so much more difficult on the dirt than the Dirt 4 games by Codemasters and all that. Those are much more arcadey. So I was doing those
Gotcha.
with the controller first, but when I got the wheel and it wasn't GT7 hadn't been released yet. So I was like, well, I'll do this for now and see what it's like. It was cake. It was instantly cake. It was incredible. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so yeah, I didn't um I didn't start sport mode. Didn't even know about sport mode until, oh, check it out. My sister just gifted 5
I just
memberships.
saw that Bandy.
She's amazing. More on her later.
Me and Misa are gonna have to come raid lead stream. We have to pay it forward now.
That's what you guys do. That's for
Yes,
sure. I've
sir.
seen it. So yeah, I didn't even know about sport mode or how that was. I was just going into lobbies once I unlocked that in the game. And it's funny. I was wondering what are these letters behind or next to my name? I'm E and B all the time, and I see other people that are these different letters, and I'm like, what is that? So I eventually found out, oh, that's sport mode. What's sport mode? I was like, oh, that's right
Ah,
there, that building on the menu. I was like, okay, let me check this out. So I started racing there, and like, oh, this is hard. Okay, these people are kind of ridiculous and pretty good, and so I played that for a while. And so, yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting into another portion of the story there, but that's how
it's
I
all
got
good
started.
stuff, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's how I got started on GT7, and it was an epic start. It really was. I was having the time of my life
So I
when
always
I.
like to ask, is there like who was your first streamer you ever started watching?
Yeah.
Who was it?
So it was the same time I realized, man, I am not good at sport mode. What was I started looking like a lot of people do. It's like, okay, who can help me, right? So the first stuff that came up on YouTube was, it's not going to surprise anybody, Super GT.
Super GT. That's
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the second or third one who said that Super GT is. It's usually the R word, and we won't
Yes,
say it till
right.
we have to.
I wanted to say that. You know, that R word guy just visited me on
Hey,
my
visit me too, man. I'll tell you
yeah,
what.
that was
No,
pretty
shout out to
wild.
Rory. He's definitely he shouted out the show, so that was really
Yeah,
cool. I was watching
cool
live.
stuff.
It was I think it was last week after Yaki. So I've almost gotten through. We've almost gotten through that whole car ride actually, because we had Hogston, Yaki.
Mhm.
We got
That
we
car
got
ride, I know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
right. So the whole Expo crew, right?
Trip,
The
yeah.
Expovid crew. No, but
Right.
and we got a really exciting show next week. So I think sparks are gonna fly.
Mhm.
We're excited.
Yeah,
We're excited. No, but
that's gonna be
I,
something.
I I get so excited over everybody who comes in. I mean, hanging out with
Yeah.
𝙃𝘼𝙑𝙀 was such an experience. Hogston, Papa, Eric B. the Realist. I mean, McNaughty.
Mhm.
They're all
Great.
amazing people, and it's awesome to hear why
Yeah.
people got behind the rig. I think my story gets kind of told every single time, because disability really made me have
Mhm.
to well during disability it wasn't like I needed to stream at the time, but it was I had a lot of time and I got into
Yeah.
sim racing, and I built my rig and all the this is rig 4.0 at this point. But there was a time where it was like
Mhm.
I might need a second income right now or something to kind of, make things a little bit
Yeah.
easier. And the opportunity does present itself. And you're watching these guys, and there's a monetization aspect to this. And you, sir, actually just hit monetization, in
Yeah, we
December?
did.
And you started in
Mhm.
March. So from March 2024 to December
Mm-mm.
2024, you were able to hit
No,
that
July 1st,
July
actually. July
1st
1st.
to
Yeah.
December. So
Yeah.
that's same about 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So about 6 months. It took me about 6 months. I think that's a realistic goal for folks who are
Mhm.
actively engaged. But I mean, for me and you both, this was a really
Yeah.
important, kind of venture that we went on, and the family was behind it.
It
And
was.
at least for me, I know it's paid a bill or two, and I know that for you, now that
Mhm.
you've monetized, it has made things a little bit easier. So tell us about the path
Yeah.
to monetization and kind of what you set your goals as, and kind of how you
Yeah.
accomplish that, because it's been an awesome journey to watch you. I think I've watched the whole journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we've sort of you and I have sort of gone parallel just about. You're just, you started a little bit sooner than us and
Right.
got monetized a little bit sooner. I remember seeing you for the first time in these different chats and talking. I remember you talking about others about your disability and how you were uh, thinking about getting streaming and all that. And I have to give you a little bit of credit for putting the bug in my head
Yeah, I
to
think you knew
actually
me
try to.
before I even monetized, or I even
I did
started streaming.
before you started streaming. Yeah, I would see you all over the place, and you were always engaged with everybody and talking and all that. So I recognized you early on, and I remember when you first started streaming, and I actually remember thinking, when is this guy gonna race? I actually because you were doing a lot of time
I was
trialing and
nervous.
qualifying. Yeah, yeah, right. No, and that's fine. I totally. But I remember that's when I thought, I was like, this guy needs to race. What's going on? Um, yeah, for us, so I never, some people you get on this show and they say, yeah, I was thinking about streaming for like a decade before I did it, and that's not me. I didn't even know. Look, I'm 42. You can tell I'm kind of a busy guy, right? So I,
Right.
di- I didn't even know what streaming was 3 years ago. I'm not even making that up. I
Me
didn't
too.
know.
I didn't even know what sim racing was.
Yeah, right. So I didn't know this was a thing, and so eventually, Super GT. I was watching his videos. I was gathering a lot from him. And then I saw Rory's videos, I saw Digit's videos, I saw Tijni's videos. I was getting a lot of information and help from them. Their videos and their content
We
is
got
superb.
really good communities you mentioned too. Those guys are most of the time they're willing to give some advice. I mean, I've even had
Yeah,
Digit really
I have
early
too.
on took one
Yeah.
of my lap times or one of my lap replays and like went through it
Mhm.
live, and I was like, wow, that was really freaking cool of you, man. Like, what an awesome dude. And
Yeah.
Disney's
No, it's
videos, I mean, second to none.
crazy. Yes, they're amazing. They really are. So that and then I didn't even know any of those guys streamed until way later on. So I think the first stream I saw was Rory, and I thought, wow, that's a cool thing. And this guy, oh, he's monetized. I came across Rory, I think, when he had like 70 some thousand um, subscribers. And so he talked about going full time. There was a big, all of that. So I was like, oh wow, these people make money from this. Okay, interesting. So it was March 2024 when I you talking about starting to stream, like just getting started, and these other guys who are more established. And I thought this is a little thought in my head, like I wonder, nah, and I just sort of blew it off. But financially, the beginning of 2024 was really up in the air, and it wasn't the best. We definitely had some months that were in the negative, and and so by the time May came along, I at the beginning of May, I said to my wife, and I talked to her, and I said, I think I want to stream. I think I could do it. Not by myself, but I think we could do this. We have a lot of help and a lot of support around, our church that we're a part of streams, so they know how to do it. We could get information from them on how to get it done. And so she gave the go ahead for that, and after that I told my son, right? So my son, who is 𝙃𝘼𝙑𝙀 in the chat, he's a wizard when it comes to tech. So I told him about it, and he said, "Okay, sure, that let's do it." And all I had to do was just sort of give him the little nudge. And 2 days later, he had a list of everything that we would need to stream, and
Wow. The
and
secret
and and
weapon.
and the good, the better, and the best for what we would need to stream. And I'm like,
Shout
okay,
out to you,
wow.
sir.
Yeah. And so I told my sister that, well, no, she came to me actually. She overheard, I guess, and said, "So you're thinking about streaming?" And I said, "Yeah, I am. I'm seriously considering it." And she said, "You should totally do it." Like, okay, all right. and
Where'd all the
and
support come from?
right, and but then she said, "And I'll be your social media manager." I'm like, okay,
Hey, hey,
okay,
what a
all right,
promotion
fine,
right from the jump.
right,
See,
right,
they saw the
exactly.
potential in you, man.
And I didn't like I didn't see it that way necessarily. So by the 1st of June we decided, yeah, we're gonna do this. I think we got everything together. So the rest of June of 2024, we started getting all the stuff in. We moved everything to the basement, like you see it now. You see those early pictures, maybe you want to show those again, of the really bright wall and the the caution tape, like
Caution
when we
tape. I
first
love the
started.
caution tape.
We said, this is under construction kind of thing, and we got the carpets in, we got the carpet on the wall. You can see in there, there's this bright metal on the wall. That's just some leftover aluminum in my workshop that I've used to attach both this mic, and then the camera over here on the other side of the wall is over there too. And we got so much support, Viking. It's crazy. We've gotten monitors from church that weren't being used anymore. I'm surrounded by monitors. I've got one up top, one over to the side, an extra one that my daughter will use to watch because
Wow.
she sometimes takes notes for shorts that will be used later. Um,
Wow.
we
What a
started
team.
we started streaming on the laptop, right? And my son got really scared because this thing was starting to overheat something fierce. And so we got a cooling station basically for it, and it was doing okay. And then I don't know if this has happened to anybody else, but it's happened for us. So we have a friend in chat. He's known as Dragon Joey, and he um he said he heard about us streaming, and he said, I have a gaming computer that I haven't used in a year. What if I just lent it to you for the time being? And I go, Okay, sure.
Send it over.
Are you sure about that? And yeah, okay. And so, oh my goodness. So that happened, and just a little bit, a few weeks after that, we ended up we ended up. He said his brother had a gaming computer that he used for flight simulator that he didn't want anymore. He was going to upgrade, and he wanted to donate it to us, of all things.
Wow.
So now we have two powerhouses of computers. We're trying to get the one that's going to be ours up to snuff. That's not quite ready yet. Dragon Joey actually has that, and he's trying to get that all worked out right now. But he's doing that for us, you know. And so it all came together in such a way that I had to go, wow, like this was sort of meant to be. Like this is so amazing how everybody is coming together. And so as far as like the channel goes, we got our live streams that we put out. Every short that you've seen from Ledpencil has coming from my sister. And she has put out a short every day since that first stream.
Wow, I was wondering how you got all that done, man. Because every day I see something new from you every day, and you're honestly pretty popular on Facebook. I see a lot of your views when I started following you on Facebook. Like those things get a lot of traction for you.
Well, and that Facebook actually came later on. She didn't start us out on Facebook, but that happened. She realized, oh, I should be doing that, and so she just got it going. And I haven't even. I'm busy doing other things, so I haven't even been on my Facebook. I've heard it's doing really well, but that's what a social media manager is for, right? Like she handles it. So
I need a social I need a social Misa manager is what
Misa
I need.
Manager. There you are, yeah. So it's a real family affair in that regard. Number two, who is my daughter, she's number two in the chat right now. You can see her there. She's done the once we become monetized and we had that membership and the special emojis, she's done each emoji for us, and done that in pixel art, I think is what it is. So all of those come from her, and yeah. So for me, you know, I get to focus then on the racing. I get to focus on chat, and I work on the videos. We use the free version of. You notice a trend here. There's a lot of free.
Hey, we do what we got to do. There's resources out there, folks.
There are, right? So we use the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and so that's what I use to edit. That's what I use to edit our different videos that we put out. So yeah, I mean it took a little bit, but that's how it all started and how it's all been. And so yeah, it's been a wild ride. I never imagined it was going to be like this. It's blown me away.
It's been an amazing growth.
Every expectation.
I mean, watching everybody. I mean, since I got involved in, let's see, I started May like 24th or so, and it took me. I started off on Madden. I wasn't even going to do sim racing. I started off on Madden, and I realized really quick that first, the Madden community can be extremely toxic. A lot of betting, a lot of, you know, you never know who's going to pop into the game, and you know, sometimes the culture can be really toxic. So I got into NCAA because I'm a former college football player, you know, so I love football. I love sports games. I love FIFA, you know, and then I play Clash Royale on my phone. I only have one game that I play on my phone ever. Actually, I believe BL said that you went through a time where you completely outlawed smartphones in your life. You took a ban from smartphones and social media.
Yes, yeah.
That's an interesting story. I'd like to hear, but I started off with the sports games, and then it was I was looking up like video game stuff, and I was on a laptop as well, looking up video game stuff on YouTube or on Marketplace, and I found my first wheel. And then when I got my first wheel, I looked up sim racing for the first time ever. And it was Rory, and that led me into a lot of the UK guys that I interact with, because I started on Rory and started engaging with that chat, and just, I'm a handshaker. So it's just my personality to, if somebody acknowledges me, I hold a conversation with them, and I'm not trying to, I don't know what anybody can consider it being other than friendly and handshaking, but I think that that's really important. And I see a lot of the people who have, really that kind of 6 month traction success and getting to the monetization
Mhm.
milestone. A lot of people like Wrench Wench, you,
Mhm.
some people that have come up, Ruthless, Blanco. There's a lot of guys that,
Mhm.
and a lot of, and gals that we hang out with. Even watching Susie kind of hit her monetization mark. You see these
Yeah.
people are active and they have a certain time investment into the community. And one of the first things that I talked to Misa about was it's a time algorithm. It's about
Mhm.
it's not about, it's for me, it's not necessarily about the money or the money or the numbers. It's about the time value. Time is something you're never going to get back. Time is something that none of us can pay for. You can't buy extra of it. So when people spend their time with me, whether it's one person, 50 people, 20 people, 10 people, I try to give a certain undivided attention to the channel and appreciate
Beautiful.
that time. I love a lot of athletes and I look up to a lot of athletes a lot of times for what they say and the quotes they say. And Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant both had said that, the drive for them and the passion of them to play their heart out in each and every game is that there may be one person in the crowd who might be seeing them for the first time. So I carry that mentality on my stream that there might be one person today that I get to meet new. And the community and worldwide and the international connection that you have with this is so unique. And
It's
for us
incredible.
that
Yeah.
are, that look up to missionaries and people who are traveling out there, boots on the ground, that are doing this,
Mhm.
this is such a unique experience to connect with people. And your community's been growing. Is there anything you kind of want to shout out to the community wise and kind of how, your philosophy is and how you want to manage your
Yeah.
community?
Yeah. So I think that those first couple months when and a lot of folks know this, that those first couple months when you have that first stream, right, and you have no idea what's going on. You don't know what it's going to feel like, and you end up with three people watching maybe, and it's kind of like, where is this actually going to go? Is this even possible? And then I gotta shout out to a couple people early on. So the first one that is really critical, that's outside of my family. I mentioned a lot of the family already that support and do so much of the work. But outside of the family, there's a guy that came on the stream really early on after an incident that I had with Placa Plume. A lot of you guys know Placa.
Enrique.
Yeah, Enrique, right? He's fantastic driver. We ended up connecting on Deep Forest, and he spun me by accident. And so a guy came that was watching his stream. He came onto mine and said, Plucker didn't mean it, and it was okay. And I was like, oh, I know, he's a clean driver, no big deal. And he stuck with me that rest of that stream, and he really liked it. And he said, you could do really well. You need to keep doing this. Okay, sure. And he became a subscriber then. So who I'm talking about is Wicked Quick.
Hey, shout out to
And
Wicked Quick.
Wicked
Amazing
Quick,
supporter in my community as well. Can't say enough.
he's incredible. He's um words fail, and I did it. I have a segment of videos on my channel that are dedicated to subscribers, and there are many more to come eventually. But I did a dedicated video to him because he has all these ideas, and early on he had all these ideas that were at the time for me like, no way, we can't do that. That's crazy. This we're too young. We're too just starting. It's not going to work. And he had these ideas like um sorry, I'm failing here a second. So he'd have ideas like, you should really think about putting, doing. You're so fast. You should do You should do coaching sessions and things like that. You should do them live on stream. Like, no way, no one's gonna want to do that. and and he would and he'd have these little ideas. He'd see little things on my stream like, hey, I had no idea you streamed. Why don't you put in your greeting, your sport mode greeting and farewell, you need to put that you're on YouTube. Like, oh, Okay, I didn't even know you could do that. You can set that up as an automatic
Yeah,
thing
do
that
you mean
happens.
in the in like PlayStation itself, like in the races?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
races,
So
yeah,
I it might have been Wicked that told me to do that too, because somebody told me to do
right,
it too early on, and I was like, all right. And now it's just always there.
right, and you don't even have to add it. You don't have to think about it. It's going to do it, right? So I had no idea that was a thing. He told me that. Okay, this guy is awesome. He also so what happened was one night trying to get a certain time at Road Atlanta. He was with me late into the night, right? And he's driven Road Atlanta before in real life. So he had some really good tips on how to handle it and what to do, especially over the crest after the first right-hander, the fast one,
Right.
over the crest, and then the S's afterwards. He gave me some tips on that, and sure enough, I got a better time. From that point on, I've called him Coach, and so Coach has been an incredible part of the channel. He's the second non-family member to become a moderator for the channel, and he's tops, man.
Wow. Shout out to
Everybody needs it.
Wicked.
Everybody needs a wicked
Yeah,
quick.
I got a couple.
Everybody
I
needs
got a
a
couple
coach.
of those. It started out with, well, when I went DD, right. So when I got
Yeah,
the DD1 wheel at first, it was I looked up who was racing with DD1 wheels because I needed settings, and this thing has all kinds of ridiculous settings. So it was Grove
yeah,
Street who helped me out a ton with all my settings.
yeah.
And then
Awesome. Grow so
iRisk,
cool.
man, iRisk really took the time out of his stream to help me, and
Iris
then
is
watched
awesome.
me on my stream and actually helped me like shave off seconds. But it wasn't the seconds that he helped me shave off, it was the way that he took the time to help me in trail breaking and understanding
Yeah.
apexes, and it completely changed how I look. I was racing totally wrong. I was entering corners early and not looking at the backside of the apex to accelerate out and focusing
Mhm.
on my acceleration speed, things that I don't even think about. And then Frunti came in, and I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people in the community know Frunti. He's got like
Mhm.
7 A+ accounts. He's all over the place. Shout out to Ray. But Frunti, at first, he came into my stream and was just telling me how to do stuff, and I was like, he's Fruit. If you know Fruity, he's got a very direct way of speaking. And sometimes and
Yes.
I learned this early on that I got to relax a little bit because a lot of people are trying to help. And some people
Yeah.
communicate in different ways. And when Fruity came in at first, it was like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And
Kind of
at first,
kind
I
of
was kind of
demanding.
like, I'll learn it myself. And I told him he can Fruity his way off of my stream, actually. But he came
Did
back.
you really?
I did. If you go back, I said, well, Mr. Fruity, you can Fruity yourself off my stream. But he came back, and that, I'm
Up to
telling
him for
you,
coming back.
if there's one person who has helped me the most in my sim
Yeah.
racing racecraft career, it has been Fruity. So it's awesome to
Yeah.
have people who come into your stream that coach. You said that,
Yeah.
you said that
Sure.
your racecraft has gotten to the point where over the last couple years where you decided that you actually wanted to share that, and you got a really unique way of racing. But there's somebody in the
Yeah.
stream right now
See him.
that has popped in. He's a big celebrity around these
Yeah.
parts. Got an
That's some
amazing community.
67 royalty.
I'm happy to see him here because he did go through the hurricane stuff, and that was
Yeah.
a trying time. But Z28, you said that
The little
has
brother.
given you a lot of motivation to launch a
Yeah.
new series of yours. So tell us a little bit about
Right.
how Z28 had this influence, and
So
then you even starting this, and what's the name of the series?
yeah. So Coach had the idea to do live coaching sessions on stream, which that was, and this happens about the same time that Z28 pops in, so they're connected in a very real way. So so he had that idea, and I had in the back of my mind this idea of a video series that would help folks to get better at racing, specifically with others. There's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of content out there of how to be fast, right? But not as much out there for how to just practically race with others and not die and not kill other people, even accidentally. And so I can't. It was maybe around a month into streaming. I think we had like 100 subs or maybe less, right? And Z28 Gaming comes into my stream, and I instantly race and drive the worst I've ever driven. I mean, I crashed a bunch of times. I'm totally like in awe of what has just happened, right? And he literally, and I think he does this for other folks too. He asked me, "What can I do to help you with streaming?" And I'm going, "Well, uh, I don't even know what I don't know. You tell me." Like, and so he gave me some general pointers that the awesome advice of just be consistent, keep going, keep putting yourself out there, um, be yourself. You look like you got a great setup. Your lighting's good. Your the mic is good. Just keep going. Just don't stop, and this community will grow. And that was awesome. And then, but I did think of a question after he said that, and so I thought to myself, because I had this idea for a series, but I didn't know when I should do it, right? And so I asked him, so I have this idea for a series, 𝙃𝘼𝙂. Is it something, we're doing streams and we're doing shorts like crazy because my sister's an animal when it comes to these things. Should I do this video series to help people early, or should I wait till I have more of a following and then start to pump it out? And he gave the advice, which was he said it this way. He said, think about having a conversation with somebody. What's more impactful, a 14-second hi and bye, or a 10 to 20-minute video that's really a conversation? Which one's more impactful? And I said, well, obviously the longer time together is more impactful. And he said, well, that's why you need to do videos. Okay. All right then. So like that was not something I was before that conversation. I was definitely leaning more towards, let me get at least 500 folks, or let me at least get 1,000, and then I'll start putting this video series out. And so 𝙃𝘼𝙂 was instrumental in me the next month learning DaVinci Resolve with my son's help, and putting videos together. And so we began the time trial trials video series. We began the subscribers video series. We began the daily race run through series, and that was just getting my feet wet of learning how to edit and put these stories together and so forth. And that was the foundation then for what would eventually become Essential Racing Strategies. You found out earlier that I'm a lay pastor. It's crazy, right? So a little bit after I had this conversation with 𝙃𝘼𝙂, somewhere in the next 3 days, I just started typing out all the information that I had in my head, right? And after I was done, I went over to my wife and my son and I said, check it out. I just wrote a GT7 sermon. And so I, it was the whole thing. Honestly, it was the bones. It was the skeleton of everything that would eventually become Essential Racing Strategies. So we put out the introductory video, and then we had a long time. That montage that we have at the beginning of the
Yeah,
video series.
I'm gonna
That
show
took
that.
forever. That took forever to. Oh yeah, you got it up there. Yeah, that took forever to get right and to sync up. And DaVinci was screaming like it was. Well, the computer was screaming like, "What are you doing to me?" And so it was a great time learning to do that and getting all that, because honestly, like so you can see on Digit's website, right? It's there for everyone to see. You have these hundreds of thousands of people that are C ranked, they're B ranked, right? Then you get to A, and it's like, I don't know, it's tens of thousands, right? And you get to A plus, and it's like just this 7,000 and some people, and that's it. And I'm going, and I know, I remember, I'm in, I see B lobbies, I see C lobbies. It's crazy in
It
those
can be it
lobbies.
can be wild, especially in the lower lobbies because you got, I think we've had
Right.
the conversation because I think you have a lot younger groups in there, and then obviously you have your like entry level, but for the
Yeah.
younger people and then the people who are on controllers, it's really hard to get in. We can't all be shaggy dudes, but
No, exactly.
it's really difficult to get into the A plus racing without the wheel, because there's
Yeah.
essential racecraft that is needed and
Hmm.
feeling that is needed
Yeah.
to be able to manage it. For me, I think the first thing I noticed was driving a straight line, and I can spot people on a controller because of how they
Oh yeah.
manage their straight line. On a
Uh,
wheel, it's very smooth, right? And
right.
then you notice those guys that are kind of moving around like this, and then in the turns,
It's
and then
twitchy.
the
Yeah.
throttle control and trail braking. There's just so much that you need um, to get to that next level, and I think a wheel
Yeah.
is essential.
It could be, yeah, and I mean there, and I even just we had a live session. So to date, we've had I think 7 live sessions on stream.
Holy smokes!
Um, Plankton was the first one to do it.
Shout out to
Shout out to
Plank. He was
Plankton.
here earlier. I think he had to go back to
Yeah.
dinner.
Coach was the second one to ever do it. And that was an awesome one. He was a both Plankton was an awesome guest. Coach was an awesome guest. Coach plays in VR, and so we
Ah,
did we did what became sort of the standard of I get on track with the individual, and we do a lap like 50%, and them following me,
you
right,
do
and
really
then
accurate walkthroughs. I was watching you with the Lambos,
yeah.
even with the gentleman who was on the controller. You had a ton of
Mhm.
information for him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was RSROP. Shout out to RSR.
Real squad.
Awesome team over there. Yeah. So coach really had a lot of influence in that format of get on track with the individual, go, them follow me, and then I follow them. Then we start going 100% and really working on the racing lines. And so yeah, we've had several guests now. We there was when I was racing in the NRL and those Saturdays were taken up. We kind of slowed down a little bit, but now that that's over, we're picking it up a little bit. And so I mean, basically what we do with that is we become friends on PSN so that we can do a share screen, and then we do the chat. It's kind of our behind the wheel where we have a guest and it's not a fellow streamer. And one of the things that I really thought when I was thinking about it, and I was kind of against it, was who's going to want to do this? Like it's kind of
Yeah,
kind
it
of
is.
nerve wracking,
It's
isn't
kind of
it?
it's kind of
For
weird when you ask your first person, and you kind of like because I mean
so
we're all kind of humble. I mean, even jumping on here, I'm still so excited to have guests or anybody on here. I know you were really
yeah,
excited.
right,
We were sitting here like,
right, yeah.
nah, man, I'm excited too for you to be here. It's an honor for me, man. And you're like, I'm on the stream with VKG, and I'm like, yeah,
I know, man.
I'm nothing. I'm on the stream with Led. Like he smokes me on the track.
No, man, it's so cool. Like and so for me, Plankton will have a special place in my heart forever because he was the first one to take the leap and to put himself out there
Hey,
and
Plank.
to be scrutinized, and to be, everything he did was shown to everybody. And it's not millions of people watching like some kind of television show, but it is for those who don't stream and just play in the comfort of their own living room or whatever. It's I'd be like, who's going to be willing to do that? And these folks have been willing to do it, and so it's remarkable because they benefit, but I think everybody who watches really benefits as
Oh yeah.
well.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
so,
And the engagement in those videos is really awesome because and you
yeah,
create a safe place for people to kind of provide their
try to,
race
yeah,
banter. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
know I'll throw in a chime or two and somebody else will throw in a chime or two, and it's awesome because I think when the host is, you're not confrontational, you're trying to establish a community that's friendly and welcoming
mhm,
and just has a positive vibe to it. And I think you successfully do that. And to be teaching race
appreciate that.
strategy, and like you said, to have someone come on who's willing to show their weaknesses and their vulnerabilities, and you have a
Hmm.
really really awesome ability to coach them through those moments, and just your tone and your
Yeah,
presentation. And I mean, we trust you because obviously the bread is in the pudding. You have established as an A plus driver, and you kind of do it differently than everybody else. You actually race from the above view, and you
Hmm.
feel really strongly about that. I've heard people ask you, have you tried bumper? Have you done this? And I even told you, man, it would be really cool just to see you try bumper cam,
Yeah,
just
I
to
think that's
see
a
how
great
you
idea.
do, man. I think it'd be awesome. I'll definitely tune in for that. So when you do that, please put out a notice
Yeah.
early so that I
Okay, I
make sure I
will.
set my notification for it. I want to see you try to race in bumper cam and see what that's like, and see you apply all those fundamentals. But you have a very strong opinion about the overhead cam and the advantages that it gives you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a strong opinion. I think camera view is really a matter of preference. That's not how everybody feels. I found out very surprising. I had no idea how controversial it would be. Like literally, it is the most controversial aspect to my stream and the shorts. And like we'll put a short out that's pretty funny and get 100 some thousand views, and there's gonna be guys on there that don't even care about the funny thing that happened and be like, why do you have a wheel and you race in chase cam? Like, what's that about?
I've seen you get asked that more than once.
Like, what? Who cares?
Right.
And there, I guess there are these purists out there. And look,
There are purists,
if you're a
Jester.
purist, that's cool. I love the fact that you race in bumper cam. I love it. I love it that you do it. It's great. You're phenomenal. It's you do you, man. You do you. But what does get me, and I feel like I'm sometimes I can get a little too logical, and I can pick apart someone's argument, and I think to myself, well, if you really want to be a purist, shouldn't you be doing cockpit view? Like have the have the bar, have the windshield, and all of that. Like
I
like
think that
get
that's when
real.
ACC comes in, and you might have to get in some ACC now. Just got the PC coming, but I think the
Well,
immersion level in some games is a little bit better
yeah,
than others.
yeah, no doubt. And I think, well, I think GT7. What I love about GT7 is the precision required. Yeah, there's some arcadey elements to it. You have ghosting, you have a pit entrance and a pit exit that's pretty much auto driven for you and that sort of thing. But what I think is awesome about GT7 is that you have these different views. You can pick what you want as far as what's comfortable for you, and 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 you just rock it, you just rock that, rock what you like. And I like, for me, chase cam is what I've always done. Remember how I said, I started on Need for Speed.
Mm.
It was, I think back then on on those games, it was either the chase cam or the bumper cam where you don't even see the car. So I just got used to chase cam, and every
Yeah, it's like
game that I have
erratic. He's
played.
like, it's just how I like to do it.
Yeah, so I tried when I got GT5 and started playing that. I tried bumper cam, I tried hood cam. You had these other options
Mm.
there, and I couldn't do it. I was terrible at it, bro. You have no idea. I tried it again in GT7. I was like, let me give this a try. I'm like, man, I just everything is too fast. And the truth is, when you have chase cam, the things slow down a little bit. Everything slows down because you're not so close to the pavement. So there's a little bit of a slow mo effect, if you feel me there. And I like it too because I get to see what's beside me as far as other racers, and I can even see just a little bit of anybody who's right behind
Right.
me.
And erratic says
Um,
that too. He's like, you guys that drive in bumper cam and stuff, you're losing so much information. And
Visibility,
yeah, you get the
perspective, yeah.
purists who want to feel the adrenaline. I and Crooked said it, or Crooked just said it too. My next comment was like, I don't know if you've ever driven RC cars, but I think you'd be great at it. I
Oh
actually
yeah,
built
I've
a
heard
couple
about
RC
that.
cars, but I think you'd be awesome at driving RC cars because it's just the way your brain compartmentalizes data and processes information,
Yeah,
and if you,
yeah, yeah.
and for whatever reason, man, and I go into the overhead cam and I have tried on times where I can't hit times and you
Yeah,
try
yeah.
everything. I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Let me
You're just
just
desperate
change
in
the
everything.
view and maybe that'll be the secret. And man, if you go from bumper cam to overhead cam, it
Oh
is
goodness.
it is a whirlwind of just sensory
Right.
mix up. And then
So yeah.
but you're crazy fast. And I know Erratic has said there's some advantages. What do you think is the main advantages of that overhead view?
I think it is sort of what I mentioned earlier with everything is just a little bit slower because you're farther from the terrain, right? and then just the additional visibility that you get around you.
Right.
I think the disadvantages are a little bit of precision.
Mm.
I think you can't be maybe quite as precise. But look, I mean, you look at the World Tour drivers, right? And you got most people who are doing like a bumper cam type of thing where they don't see the car at all. But then you got Valerio Gallo, the Italian World Tour driver, who rocks it in chase cam.
Ah, I
And to
didn't know that.
me, and I think Baptiste Bavois, I think he's also running in chase cam. He hasn't been in some of the recent um, events, but you know, you have some folks that are doing it, and they're doing it fast, and they're winning races against the best.
Yeah, I
So
think there's definitely some serious advantages there that people try to I think they know that it's there, but for the
uh-huh,
immersiveness of the in the sake of the sim
the
racer,
immersiveness, yeah,
I mean, I think me and Jester came up with a term like sim means super or what sensitive, immature man childs. Sometimes people let their emotions get into this too much and forget
it's
that
cute.
at the end of the
It's cute.
day, it's a game that we're playing. We don't plan on, getting on a track. Not a lot of us or many of us at all have ambitions to really get into a machine that can
Yeah,
do the things that we're imitating because I
yeah.
heard a quote one time, and I forget which racer it was making a move for a finish, but he was like, I knew he wasn't going to take it because he's got a wife and kids at home. And it's like,
Oh, sure.
dang, that puts some perspective on it. Like, there's
Some
guys out there that
perspective,
are
right?
willing to die for these race strategies. And for us, we're trying to have some fun. We're trying to compete.
Fun.
It's really awesome
Yeah,
when we get up there with those guys, but
yeah.
you're gonna blister your fingers and bloody some knuckles and really develop some arthrital issues if you take it way too seriously. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of us are about the sim racing. You fancy yourself a sim racer. I think I can call myself a sim racer now. I haven't been racing for years,
Mhm.
but I think I've put in a lot of time. I've invested into the to the esport, and I fancy
Yep.
myself a sim racer now. I really enjoy it. I'm learning
I
a
think it's
lot about
legit.
racecraft. Yeah, I've learned it a little bit.
You
I'm
got it.
not too
I think you're
quick, but I'm
there.
getting quick enough. Had a good
You
week
are for
last week.
sure.
Actually, was in like top
Good.
200 in the two races that I did. So I've learned a
Nice.
lot from a lot of you guys. But at the end of the day, I think if you're here on stream, it's about the community.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I think we could all spend more time getting faster. I've actually just recently started to play offline. Like my entire sim racing career up
Yeah.
until about a month ago, just in all honesty, was all documented. My all my progress you could document. So I wasn't racing offline. I would jump on, and that's why I was doing 8-hour qualifying sessions because I'm trying to learn the game at the same time as like engage with you guys. And now what I'll do is I'll do a little pre-practice. I'll kind of even on the
Mhm.
controller, I'll kind of get used to the track and make sure I know what I'm doing. And then I'll jump on and try to make sure that my stream's a little bit more quality because I found myself disengaging with the community with the chat, and that's
Yeah,
really important, when you're a
it
host and
is.
you're managing the community. And I think that you do it really well. So
That's a
is do
huge thing to
you
learn.
yeah, do you practice offline before you get on stream, or is this just all in front of us?
Rarely. Rarely do I do it. If I'm racing, I'm pretty much streaming at this point. We talked about how much I'm involved in and what I'm doing. So there's really not a lot of time outside of being a husband, father, lay pastor, worker for my full-time job, my side work with the metalworking. There's not a lot of time outside of that.
Right.
You're not gonna find me idle too much. So if I am racing, I feel almost obligated, like, well, I gotta stream it. Like apart from a practice here or there, like when I was racing in the NRL, I definitely was practicing for that off stream. That's probably the most that I've ever done
Yeah, I think
that.
you, I think
But
you just got outed for that for the NRL final. He practiced
yeah, I just
every
did. Yeah.
day.
Oh, especially for the final, yeah. The
Gotcha.
other ones, the races leading up to the final, not so much. But well, the NRL final was my nemesis. That was Bathurst. It's a tough track. So
I
I knew I
love
needed to.
Bathurst. I love Bathurst. I've heard
I like
I've
it.
heard a
I like
lot
it
of
more
you
now.
A plus guys not like Bathurst, but
Here's why.
Frunty loves Bathurst, which means I love Bathurst because he taught me how to
There
do
you
it
go.
really well.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he did. And I definitely, I did, I don't know how many laps on there practicing, and I definitely got a lot more comfortable with it. What I found out was there's a reason I'm not good at it, and I'm not naturally good at that one, and I'm not naturally good at Nords either, because it's narrow. I am used
Ah,
to I am used to a wider track. It doesn't have to be super wide, but I'm used to a wide track. And so I was approaching both of those tracks as if it were wider than it really was. Big mistake. Once I realized that about Bathurst, it sort of unlocked it for me.
it's a tough track to
So,
pass on for sure. And I mean, it
oh
seems like
goodness.
the race line, especially in like turns 4, 5, and 6, like those big right
Mhm.
handers, they're
Mhm.
so it's such finesse, and
It
and
is.
everybody kind of has, and it's crazy to watch. It was like what the McGain and a couple of the other smaller cars, but I can't do it in anything but the G70. Even the
Mm.
Lambo gives me some issues because the Lambo's so sensitive on curbing, and you
It
really have
is.
to
Yeah. Does not like it.
you have to use the whole track there, and it's a really
Mhm.
amazing, for me it's a really challenging track. Yamagiwe, Kyoto is probably my most favorite track.
I
um
remember you racing that sucker. That was the
I
first time. Was that the track that you first raced on?
Yeah,
Like
I got
actually
like
like in lobby?
I went from D to B in 7 races. I won
I thought so,
7 races
yeah.
straight, and it kind of launched my career. But that was
'Cause
like the
I
day that
remember
it clicked.
I said to myself, "He's finally actually racing. Let's go."
That was the day it clicked, and that was the day like my Fab Five came together with like me,
Mm.
Cyrus, Crooked, almost podium.
Yeah,
Just so many amazing guys. But I think
yeah.
that was the stream where I gained a little bit of credibility, we'll say, a little bit of
Mhm.
clout,
How long
because
did you stream on that one? It was a
oh,
long one, wasn't it?
I think it might have been that. It's been at least 3 or 4 months since that one, because I've had,
No, but I mean, how long was that
I
stream
think it
that
was
you
a
did?
10 or I think I did 10 or 12 hours because I was
'Cause
trying to
I
grind to A.
remember getting on I think I remember seeing you before I went to work, if I remember right, and then I got off work, and you were still and I'm like, "Is this the same?" It's the same one.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I saw
I
how
really
long
got
you had
into the
been
long
on.
stream format. So what I would do is I would organize my week, right? Because I was at home with the
Mhm.
baby. But I would organize my week to have a day off from like the whole family, and I'd do everything I needed to do around the house, get all of my hubby do's done, all my man
Mhm.
chores done. The vehicles were
Mhm.
good, the bikes were good, dog's good, Misa's good, and that's a lot in itself. Right, that's we're a half dozen here plus the dog, which adds another 1.5, because we
Right.
got a big Tosu Inu, just big old bear of a dog. But me and Greasy joke because he's got a horse dog, I got a bear dog. But
Nice,
I
that's
would
right.
organize my whole week so that I could get a solid day, and I would like I said, I'd do 12-hour, 10-hour.
Yeah.
You look at all
You're
my old
pulling a
streams,
double,
8
basically.
hours, 8 hours. And I remember Jester was funny. He was like, "You guys will watch Viking, just not talk to nobody and just grind on a qualifying." And but it took that. And I think Frunty said it best one time. He was like, VKG is
Yeah,
trying to put a year of sim racing into 6 months. And
right,
that I was
right.
grinding so hard because I had that kind of ticking clock. My disability was going to end. I
Yep.
didn't know when
You
it
were
was
in
going to
it
end.
for a
I
real
wanted to do it
reason.
for fun, but then it was like, look, if I get monetized before Christmas, I might be able to apply that. And it did, man. And I'm so grateful to my community who has had my back this last I'm going in my fourth month of monetized. So, and those are bill pay bills, man. On the
Yeah.
21st, when I got the first check and the second check, I mean, it went immediately into a bill. And then the one came for Christmas, and I was like, whew, I can put this towards Christmas presents. And it led
Mhm.
me into this chapter I'm in now, where I just got off a 4-day on-site shift where I
Yeah.
work and I'm on site and I'm not able to stream. And I'm actually trying to find a way to stream actually. So hopefully I can make
Trying to
that
fit it
happen.
in.
Maybe a
Yeah.
second game, because I don't know about getting a rig kind of thing. But we'll see how things work out. But I've been
Yeah.
away for this whole week, and you guys know December was really rough for me. but I've made sure that when I get home that I make sure that I add this to my schedule. And it may be only 3 or 4 hour streams now, but I would really like to use my platform to give back and as my own
Yeah.
kind of ministry. And I didn't know why to come on YouTube other than to just be positive. But
Yeah.
you have you've said that this has been a second stream of income for you, and I know there's a lot of people out there that has a lot of different
Third.
stories as to why
But
they're
yeah.
behind the wheel. But
Yeah.
for your community, I mean, what's the future goals here? Where do you want to take the channel? What do you want to do in being an ambassador to, you know, the YouTube community and streaming? Like, where are we going from here?
Really, you know, the loftiest goals that I have, I think, are I want to see more people get to A rank. I want to see more people make it to A plus. I want to be a part of that journey for them. Um, you know, I haven't made any of the essential racing strategies yet that are for B ranked lobbies, and I haven't made any for A yet. I have made them for E through C. That video series though is really near and dear to my heart because I feel like the general principles that I'm putting forth in there really are to make it to help shift. It can be a really, you know, we almost touched on this earlier, but it can be a really bad time to race in a C lobby and if you don't know how to like get out of the funk or avoid getting hit because it's not you can make excuses if you want. Now, well, I got hit off. Well, why did you get hit off? There are reasons for that. A lot of this is avoidable, you know, and it isn't just about being the fastest. It isn't just about racing the fastest. It's actually how do you race with others. And so, you know, especially when we get to the B ranked lobbies, which I have 3 episodes planned for that, and we get on that, like the B for me when I in my own personal journey, B to A was hard. It was the hardest. It was harder to get from B to A than it was A to A plus.
Things get real serious at the about mid B point. That's
Oh my
when
goodness.
my wins like stopped. I only have I think 23 or 24 wins total. But I remember when I got my 20th win, it was at Kyoto again, which was I was so happy Kyoto came back. But the wins come fast in the beginning, and it's cool making an alt account. I don't know if you have an alt account, but making another account and like blasting through it. But even in my alt account, like I blasted through the UK, got through all the rough lobbies, and then you get to that mid B point, and it's like, all right, guys are fast. Guys are setting top times. Some people don't play enough to get to A, but they're really, really fast. That there's other people who play a lot that kind of get that rank and they're grinding. You have that A, B jump. And it took me a while. Like I got my A twice and then I lost it and I had to grind back. So now I'm like at like a 30 or 40% A. I made to the 50% A, but I realized, man, this is serious stuff. These guys, everybody's fast. And you go from being at the top to like in the middle and then down at 10th and you're like, I got to get a better quality time. And then you go try to get a better quality time and you realize like you start counting tenths of seconds, hundreds of seconds that take you mass amounts of craft to figure out. It's amazing.
Yes. And just because you've gotten that, you know, that time that puts you pole or puts you second or third on the grid, it's not over. I actually hate pole position.
I don't like the lead.
It's my least favorite spot to start on the grid. If I have to, I will. But I don't like to have to defend immediately without anything else in front of me. I almost always choke. I almost always choke.
I like starting third. Third is my favorite spot to start because there's a battle in front of me, right? So first place kind of takes off. Second guy kind of gets that draft, and I'm able to get into that. And I think it's a really comfortable position for me. And my strategy lately, especially at Bathurst, was to just follow. And if we have a great race, and I actually learned this racing with Crooked and I'll think of it in a second. But during those Kyoto times, because I had respect for them, right? I didn't necessarily want to pass because I didn't want to risk both of us losing our race. And I heard this, I think it was Digit, who was talking about getting to know other racers, and you kind of get to this point where
Yeah.
you're able to predict how certain people race. And me
He's
and
racing
Crooked
from the
were
number.
like, I even made a thumbnail with me and Crooked, and it was because we were
Yeah.
so close, and we were so close in
I,
time. Our racecraft was matching, and it led to some really beautiful races. So at Bathurst, what I started to do is like, I'm just going to follow, and I'm okay taking a second place. I'm okay taking a third place. I'm even okay
mhm,
placing in the top 10 as long as the race is good and the race is clean,
mhm.
because some of the best racing is those close quarters, where you're in a vibe, and it's almost like you can't make a mistake, and it's really beautiful, and the adrenaline rush with that, and it's almost better
Oh
than
my goodness.
just taking off on pole and smashing everybody. Because I've had a couple of
Oh,
really cool
absolutely.
races where I've led by 10 seconds, 15 seconds. I think I even won a race by 27 seconds one time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's that race where I had a race with RL 250 where we were
Yeah.
within, I mean, our times were exactly the same except for the last digit. And it was, I mean, it was bumper to bumper in Lambo. So
That's
that's what's
awesome,
fun.
dude.
I really
It
like
is.
the I hate starting in pole because you're just waiting for the
Yeah.
choke.
All right.
And
Yeah.
I
And
feel like
so
the whole grid's waiting for you to choke.
pretty much, yeah, they're just waiting for you to make that error, and they're gonna swarm after you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know how far, I can't predict how far my influence will be able to spread, but I think that whatever part I can play, even if it's just within my own community and the communities that I interact with on a regular basis, that would be enough for me. I'd like to see those numbers start to move towards the A and A plus because uh, I hate seeing people race and having a bad time. That really,
100%.
honestly, it hurts. It hurts me. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
I
I hate
wish.
when I see people say like this game's like too hard or something like that, because there's so many people willing to
Yeah.
help you.
And that's what Essential Racing Strategies is all about. That's what the series is about. And that's what the Learn with Lead sessions are about when we do it on live streams. Because it takes that next level to to get on track with somebody. And coaching from chat is good. And I've done it too. I've said, hey, try this over here, and this will probably help you out. But it's so different. It is it is nothing compared to actually hanging out on the same track together in the same car and working it out live in real time,
For
like,
sure.
because you can say immediately what you want to say,
Yeah,
or and you can get those little corrections that can add up to tenths and half seconds and all of that. And
for
so
sure.
you mentioned alt accounts. I have my PhD account, which I got to A plus, and so I keep that
Shout out
there.
to
And
PhD, Big Papa,
right,
episode
yeah, so we
1.
have we haven't even mentioned that yet. I am a part of PhD. I hang out with everybody. It seems like
I
I hang
think
out with
I don't
everybody,
I have
but
a vague memory of trying to be a part of your acquisition into PhD.
that could be. I know that Wicked was heavily involved.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I think I remember when it popped up in the
like,
chat, and it
maybe
was
someone
like
asked you.
100% full support. Lead needs to be it. Lead needs to be
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
Wicked Quick is always on that bed for sure.
Yes, he is. He's more on it than anybody I
So
can think of.
do you think that leads in a good question? A lot of people who get into it, some get on teams, some don't. For
Yeah,
me, being on a team was so helpful and beneficial because I got into the
yeah.
discords, I got into some cool
Hmm.
lobbies, I met a lot of cool people. And PhD is awesome. RSR, TCR. I mean, there's so RTR. Those guys are
Yeah,
insanely fast. You have a lot of people. Shout out to the Beehive, the
great group.
Beehive
Yeah,
Racing League, and that was the first. Those are the first guys I ever saw. Was
yeah,
PhD versus Beehive, and they were doing their little NASCAR stint. And that's what got me into liveries. Shout out to
yeah,
Ozzy
yeah.
Pug, who's made my liveries. Shout out to Viking Wolf, who made me a livery. That's a really cool thing. I
Yes.
know Ozzy Pug made you some liveries.
Oh my
Changed the
goodness.
game.
I can't stop that guy. He's a machine. He reaches out to me every now and then and say, "Hey, I made this for you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you." Like, I don't even ask for it. And he makes cars look so insane. Like, I can't thank Ozzy enough. He's on the other side of the world. I'm probably never gonna meet this guy, and he makes because of his work, I mean, he makes our cars, our thumbnails, everything look 1,000,000% better than
Oh
they
yeah,
would if it was just
100%.
up to us, you
I
know.
follow him on Facebook
He's
too, and he's constantly posting ones that he makes for people, and it's cool.
yeah.
I think he's like he's one of the gatekeepers in the GT community. Like once you cross Ozzy, he'll
Yeah.
make you a livery like that, and they come out. He's got his own vibe. He's got his own style.
Mhm.
I can spot an Aussie pug livery
Yep.
instantly as soon as
Yeah.
I see it,
Yeah, yeah.
because he has really amazing gradiences, he has amazing shadowing, he takes your logo and adds different aspects to it and
He
really
does. Yeah.
incorporates your colors and your whole vibe. Like my Lambo is my favorite car to drive, but also my G70, my
No, you don't
Porsche,
say.
he's made my NSX, he's made me all kinds of liveries, and he even made me
Yeah.
some liveries. So love Ozzy, shout out to Ozzy. If you guys don't know Ozzy
Yeah, man.
Pug, he's one of the best livery makers out there. His name is pretty much the same across the board. You can find him in chats all the time, but as soon as you
Yep.
shout out Ozzy somewhere, he'll eventually make it to you and find out that you want a livery. But that's just,
Mhm.
again, a testament to the community. Thank you for giving
Exactly,
back.
yeah.
I mean, I learned from you. I know a lot of people in here give back to you, or gain from you, and hopefully we can give back to you by showing support, being there for the essential racing techniques and all the things that you're sending out there, the racing strategies. I want to definitely
Yeah.
take kind of as we wrap up here, because I know, it starts getting late, especially on the East Coast, and we got big families. I know everybody's watching. I want to give you the floor right now to just shout out the people that you want to shout out, go through your community, take some time. There's so many people in chat. If you want to shout out to them who are out here supporting you, we got a 30 burger. I heard that get said. So 30 burger is going to be a whole new statement. We said it's going to be LED copyrighted. Wrench is in here. You got a huge crowd, man. Say your shout outs and anything you want to say to the community and folks watching.
Well, first, everybody who has stopped in and watched today, you guys are awesome. And just this chat, I've been watching it here. I can't really read it and talk to Viking at the same time, but you guys are fantastic to see. You guys just enjoying this. So everybody who's shown up today, props to you. You guys rock. Um, Not only that, so I mentioned those early weeks of starting to stream, like they're very recent for me. It's just July 1st, that first week of July when we started streaming. And so I gotta say a big thank you to my first like 10 to 15 subscribers. They were all people that I knew. They were all I told them and I said, "Hey, check it out. I'm starting to stream. If you sub to me, you can watch me." And they all watched like those first couple of streams, and that was a lot of fun to do because, real quick, I didn't. I definitely started streaming in order to, make a little bit of money just playing video games. How cool is that, right? I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm hoping to help support my family with this, and so that's where this money is going. Um, and so when I think about those beginning months and those beginning weeks rather, and them faithfully liking everything that I put out, every short, every stream, those likes came from them, and they helped launch the channel. So guys like D'Lo Baby, who's a friend, Kelso, who's my brother, who's responsible for this sign behind me there. Um, Dragon Joey, who came in early, Stefan, who came in early, not the greasy squad, not the greasy team, but another Stefan. Just these folks, plus all my family members, BL, Cookie, Banda Cookie, Octia, my son, number two, she does the emojis, and she now does the emojis, and she did that at the end of my stream. You have a Lego sim rig of me in this quadrant right here of the room. That's her. She did that. She did that in like minutes. It was
Oh, wow.
crazy how fast she put that together. She's a Lego building master. Okay, so and so
Lego Meister. We got some Legos here too, man. I got Legos all around me that my son builds me.
oh my goodness,
And I saw your Star Wars behind you. I see that you're a Star Wars fan.
Yes, there's quite a bit of
We got all
that. My
kinds of. We just did
Yeah,
a. Oh, what did we just do? We did a.
yeah.
I can't think, but we just dancing Groot actually. But we got a bunch
Oh,
of Star Wars ones, man. The dancing Groot was really
nice.
cool. Legos is getting
That's
crazy.
They are. I kind of wish it was like this when I was growing up, but that's okay. You know, sometimes you're born a little early. But so that was huge for me. With that early rallying around me, that was fantastic. And then I gotta give a huge shout to Coach once again, for providing all of these ideas for the channel that have really helped us. He makes me think outside the box, and I think sometimes my box is pretty small, and so I feel like without him, I don't think we have Learn with Lead. Honestly, without him, I don't think we have Learn with Lead. Period. Without him, I don't think I have, I don't think I even have the alt account where I keep in the low lobbies on purpose to generate essential racing strategies content. That's where I get the footage from. I don't when I do footage from stuff for essential racing strategies, I get that from actual racing in those lobbies from that those lower lobbies with in C's and B's. Now I'm in B and getting footage for that and so forth. So I get that real hands-on experience. That doesn't happen without Coach. Um, Big shout out to now. One of the things that I hadn't mentioned yet that I really wanted to mention, and this goes right along with this, is so I did stream and I started all of this streaming because I thought, hey, what if I made just a little bit of money every month to go towards taking care of my family? That would be amazing. Whatever amount it is, that would be more than I would have gotten if I didn't do it, right? That was my thinking. But what I did not anticipate was the community and the people that have shown up in chat and the people who have shown up in PSN chat. And so I got to take some time and say hi and thank you to some really special guys. Okay, some of them some of them some of them you might not,
Oh yeah,
but Cedric Gagne,
for sure.
Edward E, Phil
Big Ed.
Philness, um, T Sofian, Plankton, G Wizzy. These are guys that are literally blowing my phone up every single day in PSN chat. These guys are so enthusiastic about GT7. They spur me on. And we talk about racing and we talk about we talk about life too. Everything happens in there. But these are some of the guys that, really like help me get to the next level of interacting with folks in this platform. And they were the first guys to become moderators for those were some of the first guys that become moderators for my channel that were outside of the family. And to be a moderator on my channel, it's not just, hey, you're a moderator. I have some expectations too. So it's a certain thing. And another person too, not in PSN chat, but Noah Lupkas, also a fantastic racer and just a huge guy. So it's incredible. The community aspect of this has been greater than any of my wildest expectations. Like, you guys are awesome, and I
Yeah,
really mean that. I
you're
call I don't I use the word friends a lot, right? And that's I use it in my videos. I use it in my streams, and I really mean it. Like, I really consider all of you guys and girls my friends. Like, that's what you are to me.
there's
You're
like
my
there's
friends.
like there's like 5 girls.
Well, some of them are family members.
For
So I
sure.
mean,
No, I
but
mean like in the community, it's really cool because it's such a It's
Yeah,
such
yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a guy thing, man, to sit here and build
It
racing
is.
rigs. But shout out to the ladies that are killing it. I mean,
They really are.
We had Misa who she loves it. She loves it. She gets on here. She'll actually probably be on more when I'm away. We're trying to get her back on, but we had Misa on months ago, and then she got onto like Wreckfest Wednesdays, and then so she's a big fan of like Susie Q, and then I mean
Yeah, yeah.
Renchi came out of nowhere, and shout out to Renchi, she's just kind to everybody and has just
Mm-hmm.
her channel's
Sure.
blossomed. So just shout out to you, and her journey is pretty awesome. You know, coming into
Yeah.
the States and marrying into the States, and she's just really
Right.
cool story that she tells on her channel. So we all love Renchi. And
Yeah.
then you know some of the ladies that are behind the streamers, you know, and we have
Mm-hmm.
so many. You'll hop onto a lot of the streams, and you know one of my guys that I hang out with, and you know is Viking Wolf, and you guys know that I love that guy, and he's an ex
Yeah, yeah,
teammate, and I'm a big mental health advocate, and you know so I want to
yeah.
always take time, you know, when I on some smaller streams, that the guys that are working really hard, but behind them are these women that are pushing and pushing and pushing them. And it's fun to jump on a stream and you'll just be chatting, and all of a sudden you'll get like
Mm-hmm.
this one person who's just, who is that? And sometimes you don't even know the
Yeah.
name, but like
Yeah.
BL, you got your mom in here, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that till today. I knew it was family, but I didn't know
Yeah.
until today that
Just
that was
one.
one of the ladies behind you, and then your sister, and you know you'll see my daughter jump in, and it's
Yeah.
it's rare, but we back our ladies quite a bit.
Yes. No doubt. No doubt. And so I haven't said yet, I have to thank and shout out to my sister big time. She's Bandakookie in the chat there.
Bandit Kookie. I
And
was afraid to say it
she
because I didn't know how to say it. I was calling her
yeah, well,
Bandy.
a family so a little insight into that name. So a family nickname for her is Kookie, which it fits, trust me. And then but the bandit, she loves Crash Bandicoot. And so
Oh,
that's where the bandy
nice.
comes.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's the first thing I thought of when you said Bandy. It was like Crash Bandicoot.
So
How did you get the lead
so
name? Sorry to interrupt
well,
you, but we never even
yeah,
talked about that. I'll let you finish up
that's
here,
okay.
but we'll wrap
Yeah.
back to the lead name. So at the
Okay.
end of all this,
Yeah,
you definitely got
two
to
more
tell
people.
us.
Yeah, two more people I gotta say, Bandicookie, we are not even at 500 subs without her. We've generated a lot of the support and the community from the shorts that she, like I said earlier, puts out like literally almost every day. There's like there's maybe less than two handfuls of days where she hasn't posted a short. She's a machine. And so, she's a workhorse when it comes to that. And so I thank her. She she's just doing it because she loves me. That's that's all it is, and so I love her dearly for it. And then the
Oh,
final shout out that I have to give out is to my wife, who
this is the
lets me
moment
use.
everybody's been asking for. I don't know how many comments have been about your wife. Like, when are we gonna get to her?
So I mean, we talked about her earlier, and so she doesn't show up in chat very much. In chat, she's drive me to the library, and she typically in chat will only ever just give me a book quote. She loves books. Whatever you think love books means to you, just multiply that by like 5 or 10 or 100. She loves books in credit. So she normally in chat just give me a book quote and say hi that way, and maybe interact with a few people. But you've heard the statement behind every good man is a great woman.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's it's so much more than that.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
she's more than I could have ever dreamed for in a wife, and that's the reason. We're approaching our 20-year anniversary coming in June, and if I never could have predicted the wild ride that our life together would have been. But here it is. We're coming up to this milestone, and I can't wait for the next 20 years. And I can't I know that the next 20 years, and I'm hoping for 60 is what I'm going for. I want 60 years out of this marriage if the Lord lets us live long enough for that. We have a couple in our church that we have a couple couples that have celebrated 60 years of marriage, and I go to her and I say, I want to be them when we grow up, and they're still holding hands. Like I want to be like that. It's phenomenal what God can do with two people that are committed to each other. And I know a lot of people poo-poo marriage and say, it's just the pits, it's the ball and chain, all this stuff. No, it's amazing and it keeps getting better. And um all I can say is, sweet babe, I love you. Thank you.
Dude, I think you're gonna make me cry. I think you're gonna make other people cry. Misa's over here getting awes and stuff. She's sitting right next to me. That's my
Yeah,
ball
yeah,
and
yeah.
chain.
That's awful.
No, man,
Oh
life
dear.
is not possible without Misa for me. Same things across the
Right.
board. My new career
Right.
path, just things with my son and our family and our home and the ministry that she's in, and praying every night as a family, even when you gotta I get off stream like, up, I gotta go pray. All of our kids, it's lingo in our home that's just so common, and it's because of her. And without that, I
That is
probably wouldn't
true.
be sitting here either. I'd probably be on a drill rig again and risking my body and my life to make a buck. But um it's awesome to hear you say that. And honestly, man, I'm trying not to, I can see the emotion in you. I can hear it in your voice. I'm sure she's sitting there just beaming ear to ear, to hear her
Up
get
into
that
the
little bit,
chat.
get that
Absolutely.
credit. And chat, everybody out there, man, hug your wives, hug your ladies, hug your mamas, hug your kiddos, hug everybody who has given you the ability to do what you do. And that is your immediate support group. And that's the people that we lean on. And those are the people who see us in our high times and our low times. And no matter what, it's the same love, right? It's
Yeah.
unconditional. Whether you're in a high or you're in a low, you know that you can count on that hug and kiss, and or that embracement and that support. And dude,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. That's what makes it. So I thank you so much for sharing that about your family, about your
Thank you.
career, about your passion, about your community, being fully
Yeah.
transparent about why you're here and what you plan in the
Yeah.
future. And dude, I'm just so honored to have you on the channel. We spoke about this. I think we've been speaking about this for like almost 2 months now, trying to find a date. But I've been so
Yeah.
fortunate to have eager people willing to tell their stories and to open up, and just kind of give a story to the face and the name. And that's one thing that is a tradition here, is we try to identify where the name came from. So Viking King came
Hmm.
from my kids telling me to go with it. We kind of had like a family vote, but I have some 11th century heritage with the Russus Viking King in Europe. And it's a really cool story because it was one of the last Viking kings to ever exist. Because by the time
Yeah.
they made it to Europe, it was very diluted, and that was also a king who converted his entire clan to Christianity. So
Yeah.
something that I find kind of deep to my heart. And we don't try to push religion, but honestly, we don't try to hide it either. So um,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, and just everything that you represent, and the awesome man that you are, being an amazing ambassador to the community. And it helps that you're an A+ driver. I mean, that made this really easy, is that you are very fast, and you have a brain for technique, and you have a brain for craft. And
Yeah.
it probably comes from just a life of just paying attention and doing the hard things and doing the little things, like you said, paying
I tell
attention to
you,
detail.
yeah, I tell you, what I found when I was evaluating things was, my dad was a certified tennis teacher, and he taught all of us kids tennis. And tennis is, you have to be very athletic, but it's a very technical sport. You'll see how this connects in a second. So, but if you want to serve 135 miles per hour like the pros do, you can't just get up and do it, right? There's technique involved. There's grip involved. There's all these things involved. And what I think that a lot of folks end up doing, if we're not trained, and I wasn't trained either in sim racing, but if we're not trained, we pick up inevitably bad habits, right? And
Right.
so what what I feel like I'm able to do is I'm not an alien. I know I've been accused of being an alien. Yes, I'm A plus. I'm a low A plus. My goal is hopefully eventually to become like a mid A plus. And to do that, I probably need to work on some things. I'm still trying to get better myself. I might need a different rig, even though I love this G923 so much. I really
A
do.
lot
I
of
really
people
do.
are attached to their G923s. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that. If
yeah.
Papa
So
was attached to his,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
A
remember.
lot of people have been attached to the Logitech because of the
There's something
battles that they
about it,
went through,
man.
man.
Yeah, there's
I
something
think if
about
you
it.
make I think when you get that wheel, I hated selling my CSL Elite, and it wasn't DD,
Yeah,
but it
right.
was like kind of on the same spectrum as the G29. Before the DD came out, it was like direct band, but people are really
Yeah.
attached to those G29s.
Right, right. So I am not an alien. Sometimes I like to tell people I'm an alien in training, I think. I'm trying to get there. Hope, maybe one day I can be bona fide or not. But I think, the advantage that I have is that I'm still close enough to the A and the B ranked drivers, and that's still really fresh to me. I feel like I can give insight to help those people get to the next level. Because I see, if you want a top 10 time in the world, if you want a top 100 time in the world, if you want a top 200 time in the world, or top 500 time in the world, you're not going to get there without the fundamentals. And you can get to B, like you were saying, Viking, about, you got to mid B and it just changed, right? It all of a sudden like was difficult. Oh, there's Ozzy Pug right there. Oh, there's the
Oh yeah,
man.
shout out to
Yeah,
Ozzy. I told him we need a
we were just
behind the
talking
wheel
about you,
livery, man. I need a series of behind the wheel liveries.
yeah,
I
that's a
want to
good
figure out how
point.
to get my face on the car.
That'd be something. That'd be awesome.
Oh, Dutchy or Skelly figured it out. Yeah, Skelly
Yeah,
GT has a guy who made a bus with like their whole team's faces, and I have no
that's
idea
amazing.
how that's
I
possible.
don't know how you do that. No. So anyway, I feel like because sometimes okay, this is not a knock on some of the content out there. I think even you mentioned it a bit ago, Viking, that some of these guys that are streaming and put content out, they are so fast. I mean, they are so fast. They're putting out top 50 times all the time, right? And I think Z28 even mentioned it a bit ago. I think the B rated drivers and lower get forgotten a little bit. And what I've seen is folks in that range don't necessarily have the fundamentals, or they've picked up bad habits along the way, so that when they get to that level, they get stuck. And they get stuck in these trenches of the B lobbies and they're getting killed. And so I think what Essential Racing Strategies does and so forth, it really hopefully the goal is to get back to those fundamentals, and also the live sessions of Learn with Lead, that they get back to the fundamentals, that they can see, okay, this is a proper racing line, or in Essential Racing Training, this is how you navigate traffic, this is how you navigate being with others around you, so that you survive the first lap, you don't just get killed in the first lap all the time. So that to me is a huge part of what's happening.
I think you are on an amazing path. I'm showing a little bit of highlights of your video right here. I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah, I
but
do. I see it
I
there.
keep trying to go back to the essential racing because there's so much content in there. You took so much time to illustrate, and I don't know. You said you're using DaVinci Resolve, like the free version.
Yeah, yeah.
So if y'all don't have, I'm using Filmora, the paid version, and my videos don't look
Okay.
that dang good. So
Well, DaVinci Resolve is what was used for, I believe, for all the earlier, like the first few phases of the Marvel movies. That's
interesting.
what they
I'm gonna have
used
to check
for.
out DaVinci Resolve. Y'all check out DaVinci Resolve because what we're seeing with the essential racing strategies is a product of DaVinci Resolve. So some of you guys
Totally,
saw the
100%.
highlights. Some of you guys saw the graphics earlier. Make sure you go check back. But amazing content, amazing information. You have truly started from scratch. We go
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
the graphics here and we look at, the production of your sim rig and going from, a corner of the room to building a full studio welding in mic mounts and camera mounts.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got the lead pencil LED, but that thing is fantastic. You know, I
That comes
see.
from Kelso, my brother. He
Nice.
donated. He donated. He gave that for a birthday present. And yeah, it enhanced the room in such an amazing way,
It did.
for
It
sure.
little things like that, little touches. I mean, they really are the difference maker. I know everybody's trying to
So
find their own unique style. There's things that people do that kind of gets overlapped in every stream. Some people do music. Some people do
yeah,
just random things. It's really cool. So, but I'm a big believer in creating forever content. And one of the things that I set out
this is
on when
it.
I started Behind the Wheel was, how do I create some kind of forever content that's not just repeatable? Because in all reality, you'll race, you'll get done with the weeklies or the dailies, and then it's a new set of dailies. And honestly, people don't really go back to check those out unless they're a really big fan or
Right.
they're trying to tackle that track. So
It's true.
the
It's a week to week
strategies,
thing. That.
right, the essential racing strategies, your show that you're doing, learning with lead, you have two different platforms going on. I thought it was the same thing, but I'm glad that I clarified that you're doing a
Yeah, three
series
different.
on learning, and then you're doing a series on tutoring, which is awesome
Yeah,
because you're giving your time
and
back, and
and
the community is
if I may,
benefiting from that. Go ahead.
yeah, and if I may, that's open. I would be willing to do one of those live ones almost every Saturday. And so if anyone's watching right now and you want a live session with me, let me know. I can
100%. Y'all
is
send in the
my
PMs. Do we
P
have a Discord that we could post from maybe one of your people's in the
yeah,
chat? And then we
probably
can, if
be
they're not a mod, we can copy and paste that, because we do need to get that interactive so that people can click on that
and
and get a
then
hold of your Discord.
is it okay if I put in my PSN chat in
100%, man.
PS yeah. So friend request me at Ledpencil 2017. I just put it in the chat there. Because we do, if you're willing, we will do a share screen as well. So that's how we would get that done. And yeah, I mean that's a huge part. One thing that thought might be interesting for folks too, back to the pictures of the rig, was I custom built the cup holder that's over on the right side of the wheel, and then I also you see some pictures without the keyboard and without the stream deck there, and then you see them there. And so what I did was I actually that is on a hinge. And so because the room is pretty tight, I can't just have the keyboard and mouse and stream deck right there all the time. So I welded and fabricated a thing and then mounted it to my rig here so that it actually will swing out of the way and actually under the TV that I use
I see that. You
to
can see the little
stream.
hinge there. There is a little
Yeah,
bit. You can see the hinge there. Stream decks.
metalworking has.
That's something I want to get into. Eric B. the Realist is like a stream deck master.
Oh, he's amazing. Yes, he's incredible with that, no doubt. Yeah, so it's been metalworking has always been fun, and it's paid bills as well. But it's been neat to be able to do that and make that a big part of integrate that into what we're doing here because it's
Man,
been
not everybody
that's
has
the
those
thing.
skills. So, I mean, you might want to start. One of the coolest videos that I watched, and it was funny, was
Yeah.
Hogston when he got his new rig. He built his rig live, and
Oh,
it
that's
was an
fun.
amazing stream. There was like 80 people in there. It was crazy.
That's interesting.
So I don't
Whenever
do
I have
fabrication stuff like that. I mean, I guess I
yeah,
could, but I mean, my kind of
that's
setup
an
is already
awesome
kind of
idea.
set up already, and there's things that I've wanted to add to it, but I regret not doing like my build videos or my setup videos or things like that. So, I mean, I would
That's a
encourage
good idea.
you, I mean, especially with all the craftsmanship that you're doing, to at least give a behind the scenes kind of scoop on what that looks like.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind because eventually, when I do plan to upgrade eventually. I don't know when that'll be, but whenever I upgrade, I probably have to make some major modifications to what I have here already. So that could be really good idea to either live stream a lot of that or even or just give video updates on that kind of thing. That's an
Hey,
awesome idea. Cool.
learning with lead
Yeah.
2.0. Hey, I tell you what, man. Holy smokes, man. We have gone 2 hours and 15 minutes live with lead. It has been an amazing stream. We have a wild chat going on. We have an amazing crowd going on. I'm so grateful for the engagement. I've had a long day. And I was rushing back from Tucson. Sorry, it's like an hour drive back from my son's game. I was texting you, hey, I'm on my way home. Hey, I just got home. Got to wind down. I mean, I'm beat up after a whole week. You re-energize me, and just again,
Cool,
every time I do this, it invigorates me to continue this. And I'm so excited. You and your chat know who's coming next. So we're really excited for that. I don't want anybody to miss that, but I really want to, again, pinpoint that you are an amazing person. You're an amazing man. You're an amazing family man. I know that your path is you're on the right path because of the way that you lead yourself. I believe that none of this is coincidence, that you're where you're supposed to be. You're helping people you're supposed to help, and your community is benefiting. I think everybody who's here has benefited and at least has access to a resource to, hey, if you want to get faster, if you want to just hang out, you got tutoring, you got guys out there that are charging here, charging there. I mean, Led's putting it out there. Come train with them, and just get it done.
Well, and I want to clarify one thing too about the live sessions and the live coaching. I specifically tell the people that come on, do not pay me. That's not what I'm doing it for. If you notice, in any of those live sessions, before it wasn't an option, but once we got monetized, it technically was an option. And I do it because I don't want to put any pressure on anybody that feels like, and I've gotten some kickback where some of the folks have said, but you're spending an hour or two with me doing this. I want to do that for you. Like, no. That's not what this is about. Really, my hope would be one day that I'll get paid by YouTube. The ads that people see, that's what it comes to. And then, that's kind of the ultimate.
It's like the final milestone. It's like the last boss.
Yeah, and it's not, technically not that far away. It's 1,000 subscribers.
No, man, you're right there. I mean, it's that last push, right?
It is. And so I'm excited. This first half of the journey, if you want to call it that, to 1,000 has been remarkable.
Hey, you're on your way to 200K like Rory, on your way to 1 mil like Super.
Well, no, so I'm realistic, okay? Look, could I see myself doing this for a living? Yeah, I could. Okay?
It's fun. It is fun.
No doubt about it. Editing videos, I had no idea how much I would enjoy doing that. Getting a story together, even for the daily race run through series that we do, that is fun. It is really fun.
Right.
Putting the essential racing strategies, that's not as fun, to be honest. That's a long. It takes me cumulative about 24 to 28 hours to put one of those episodes together. Wow. It's a lot of work.
Y'all go out there and support Led, man. He's working hard.
And so so that doesn't happen. That's why there is often a gap between the episodes, because I'm trying to find the time to just work it in. And to be honest, I do have the skeleton of the whole series. I have it all out, but that, the detail content, sometimes I get a little writer's block, to be honest. And so it takes me a while to sometimes formulate, put it all together in a clear, sensible way,
Gotcha.
And so, that's kind of how that goes. But
dude,
I don't know.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so dang excited to see what you come up with, because I'm not even thinking that far ahead. I'm winging it on a lot of this stuff. Yeah. It sounds like you're way more organized than us, and I think a lot of people have realized, like, holy cow, like there's a lot that goes into this. But the one thing that we missed this whole 2 and almost half hours, we got to figure out where you came up with the name. Where did Ledpencil come from? It is one of the most unique names online. I'm straight up. It really is. Yeah. Where did this come from, man? Everybody here wants to know.
But this might be a little anticlimactic, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I did it's funny, I forgot to mention this. So back, remember when I said in March 2024 was the first, like, seed of a thought of streaming at some point that came up, and part of it happened because someone in chat, I can't remember who it was, someone in someone else's chat, I don't even remember what stream it was in. They told me in chat, they said, "Ledpencil, that's a really memorable name. It's a good job." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't even that's I Ledpencil for me is over 20 years old." And so, but thanks, but I thought, huh, if I'm pretty recognizable, I wonder if that would ever, catch anything, down the road. So anyway, yeah, I think it might be a little anticlimactic, but so, I said in the beginning that I played a lot of Need for Speed games, right? So I played the junk out of the first two Need for Speeds. Need for Speed 3 came out, and that was Hot Pursuit. Remember Hot Pursuit?
I do
Oh, that was a
remember Hot
game.
Pursuit. Hot Pursuit was
That was a
cool.
game. That was a game changer, even in racing games. The graphics level went way up. The way the cars, um,
Oh, the crashing.
and
The crashing was
the
awesome.
crashing,
The
the
crashing.
cops, how the cops were pretty aggressive in that one too. I
Yeah.
remember. And so there was that, and then
I think yeah, the
there was
spikes came out and stuff too.
what was that?
But didn't they have like spike strips and stuff that you had to
Yes,
avoid? You had to hit the cars
yes,
in the back and not in the front.
right, right. Yeah, that's totally right. And so, but after Hot Pursuit, there was a lesser known Need for Speed game called High Stakes. And I have a feeling most people haven't played it. Most people
I
I
haven't
talked to
played High
about that one,
Stakes. OG said the Most Wanted. The
most
Most Wanted
wanted.
was my favorite too. Like the M3. That was
Yeah, yeah.
I love the M3 because of that game.
Right, right. Yeah, I didn't play Most Wanted. By the time that one came out and Underground, I hadn't. I think I
Ah,
was in school by then. I was in college by then, so I didn't have time to do any of that. But so High Stakes was like the fourth iteration of Need for Speed, and it was the first Need for Speed that had actually slower cars. I remember it had was it the BMW Z3? I think what it was.
Z3 Roadster.
That was your starter car. It was one of the only video games that had like a '98 Camaro in it. That was fun.
Ooh.
But that game it introduced damage for the first time in Need for Speed. At least damage that would affect your car. I think there was visible damage before on the games, but this one it would actually hurt your car, and it was fun because you were trying to progress through a racing career, and so you would win, you would race, you would earn money, you would upgrade your car. It was pretty fun, right? That game, all that to say, that game had an ability to give yourself a username, a nickname, right? So the first thing when that came up, the first thing that came to my mind, no lie, was Ledpencil. And the cool thing about the game is that when you put your name, it would put it as a personalized license plate on your car, right? So
Ah.
I typed in Ledpencil, but the proper way, LEAD space pencil. Guess what? Didn't fit. So I shortened it to LED pencil, basically like one word. And from that point on, Ledpencil was born. And
There
it's
you have it,
crazy.
folks.
My first email address has Ledpencil in it. Like it became everything, video game wise, and a lot of other
That's
things too. Ever
awesome.
since then,
I
I
mean,
found out.
that's not anticlimactic at all. The fact that you
Okay,
had to
all right,
shorten it to
cool.
fit it on a license plate in Need for Speed, and it's made it all this way
It
throughout
has,
your
yeah.
entire life, and now it's your channel name that's bringing you all of this community, bringing all this
Wild,
happiness.
right?
I mean, come on, that is a
Wild.
climax right there, baby.
It's wild. Yeah. Oh, Tats says that you played High Stakes. That's cool. Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh yeah.
character limit. Yeah.
Those
Character
that whole
limit.
series was awesome. I mean, it was a whole generation of childhood. I mean,
It was, man.
once PlayStation and kind of, I mean, it really was PlayStation. Once PlayStation kind of kept setting the bar, new systems, new abilities, new graphics. I remember looking at graphics like, wow, this is awesome. And I look at graphics
Right.
now and I'm complaining
Uh-huh.
about the difference between GT graphics and Assetto Corsa graphics. But you'll learn,
Yes.
especially if you get on the PC, man, ACC is a whole nother ball game. It is
Yes.
absolutely technical. There are so many tunes and variations to the car. You really, it's hard. It's honestly, it's challenging, but I like that
Yeah.
challenge. I don't know if you hung out with the early birds, but Yaki, Ruthless, Grim, Erratic, Legend, all those guys out there, Blanco
No.
4-5. I mean, you have an amazing group on PC ACC. If you get on there, Ruthless
Right.
gifted me PC ACC, so
Oh,
there's a
that's
certain
cool.
obligation I have to try to learn it and get better at it. But
Yeah.
dude, so
Yeah,
much cool things
ACC
out
looks
there.
phenomenal. ACC looks phenomenal. It's not something I have time for. Like this space, like, oh, when
Yeah,
I do
it's
that.
it gets
But
overwhelming.
yeah, maybe one day
Yes,
it could be
sir.
something. Yeah. But for now, GT7, it kind of is video game life right now. I don't do anything else video game wise.
You're taking that
But
Rory path, man. You're focusing on the GT community.
yeah, I am. And it's an awesome
Uh,
community. Like we were talking about before, like there's something about this game and the people that play it as a
there is
whole
for sure. There's like
that
a
they're phenomenal. Yeah,
there. It's had a heritage, man. There's a pedigree to it. It
it
really
is.
is.
Yeah.
So, man, what a show, sir. We have to at some point we got to finish. I feel like we can just keep coming up with
Right.
topics. I mean, I didn't
Probably right.
honestly, man, it was awesome meeting you today in person, at least
Yeah.
with the technology that we have today. But you, sir,
No.
are an amazing person. I've had an awesome conversation. I know the crowd engagement has been awesome. Shout out to you guys. Leo just showed up. Shout out to
Hey,
Leo, man.
Leo, what's up,
Leo
bro?
was the man who makes sure he's the gatekeeper for PHG, just so you
Yes,
guys
he.
know. But so shout out to Leo, PHG, all the teams, everybody who's made it, and everybody who's mentioned today, the families on both sides. My family supports me a lot in this. I announced to the house I'm going live, and it's cheers and nothing but support. And I know that you have that there. So shout out to your family. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks everybody for supporting Led and coming out and checking this out, man.
Thank you, guys.
We're gonna let you get back to your family. I know it's late out there on the East Coast. You're approaching
Time to
midnight.
sleep.
Yeah, man. So again, man, if you will just take a moment to say goodbye, and I'll let you go.
If I may, thank you, Viking, for doing this. I feel significantly inadequate and unworthy to be a part of a great series like this. What you're doing is um, it's really really cool, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for somebody to come up with this idea. And
Thanks,
props
man. I
to you
appreciate it.
for doing this and helping to bring the community even tighter than it already is. Like this is all it's just an incredible thing that you're doing, and I
Thanks, sir.
am so privileged and honored to be a
Uh,
part of it.
Privilege is
Episode
all
10.
mine. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being here. I'll let you get back to your family, all the way from Maryland, y'all. Lead Pencil. Appreciate you. Holy smokes. What a show. Number 10 is in the books. Wow. Dude, if you guys don't know Led, go check him out. We got links all up in the chat. Everybody here who hung out, all the 26 people who are still here, to the almost 40 likes. I'm sure it's going to be a banger episode. This is forever content. You guys come back, check it out. Check out the other episodes. Please merge communities. Please spread the word. We got another guy out here who's just pushing out the good push. A+ driver. I mean, I don't know why you guys watch me. Go watch him. He's fast. He explains it well. He's an amazing personality, and just a place where everybody can hang out, feel accepted, and just and have a good time. Led's on the rise, just monetized. We're out here dropping bars on VKG's channel. Thank you for enjoying the 10th episode of Behind the Wheel. I hope to see you guys all again. And until next time, y'all, Viking King is out.